pig like I like it.
We live now?
Yes, we are live. On the note of American lard substandard.
That's right.
I don't really know. I don't, because in Mexico you can buy lard in lard blocks.
Blocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like a blob of white fat, and then it's in the white thing like you bought a steak. I've never seen lard in America.
My introduction to what lard even was from Hey Arnold. Because Helga would refer to Harold as the fat tub of lard.
And, you know...
And a 7-year-old Patrick was like, what is that?
They use lard as an insult in cartoons quite a bit. And I was like, you know, it took me a while to actually figure what it was out, too.
Yeah.
And if you've ever eaten lard, it doesn't feel good. No.
Wait, what? You like straight out of...
No.
Okay.
No, I meant cooked with lard.
That probably feels bad, too.
It's like, it's basically, if you've cooked with bacon fat, you're in the same camp.
Oh, yeah, which I have done before.
Which is flavorful, delicious, not exactly the best experience for you.
You do that for a cheat day. If you're making burgers and you cook your bacon, save the fat, toast the buns in the bacon fat.
Oh, okay.
That's flavor.
I thought you were...
That's actually how we do breakfast sandwiches on, because y'all are Saturday. We're Sunday. So,
Gotcha.
So breakfast sandwiches on Sunday,
Yeah.
bacon fat.
I am so glad that's where it went, because I was very distracted, and I thought you were talking about using lard to fry up your bacon,
Oh.
to like double fat your bacon.
I wouldn't be here.
But you have me wanting to try that. Cook some bacon and then save that fat and cook more bacon in that fat.
See, I feel like despite being
Not a bad idea.
despite being a bigger dude, I always feel like, I have a cap on what I can tolerate as because like there are some menu items I look at. So actually, no, time out. Some shit I've seen Sammy that I'd be like, I can't do that. We got Pluckers out one time. I said, I've never had a burger from here. My heart would just say, nah, you're good, dog, and quit.
Oh, speaking of which, where do we want to go this weekend to watch games?
So
I will be around this weekend.
You will be around?
Yes.
I didn't even know, because sometimes you are around, and when you don't respond, I just assume, like, all right, he's got some sale to do in South Korea or something.
Nah. I'll be here.
We will be back Sunday morning, so we can't do any of the games on Saturday. I don't remember what games are on Saturday, but the chief one that I want to focus on is the Eagles game, I think.
That'll be a Sunday.
Yeah, that's a Sunday night, Sunday afternoon game.
Saturday, it's the Chiefs-Texans is the first game. Texans at Chiefs. And then the second game is Washington at Detroit.
Those are some good games.
So both the one seeds play on Saturday.
What a
Well,
weird
if you
way
want
to
to watch
do
any of
it.
the Saturday games, we can go to Bolden if you like.
Oh, we were thinking either Bolden or Walnut Creek Pub.
Yeah, I'm totally down.
Yeah, because
We'll be around.
we have not had the food at Walnut Creek Pub yet. Every time we go there and you guys eat, I'm like, fuck, that looks good. But I can't eat it because it's not my cheat day.
Whatever one you don't go to, we'll just go to the other one the next day.
Okay. I'm down for that.
But we actually had a lot of fun going to Greta's.
Oh, yeah, with the Philly fans?
Yeah.
That shit was scary.
Well, I saw I think it was the photo that you took or the video.
Yeah.
It was like a green tunnel. I said, no, I'm good. They'll smell the Navy in my blood and beat it out of me.
Yeah, so I was I messaged Andrew. I was like, it's a Philly bar, so don't go to that.
Yeah.
Or don't go there wearing Giants gear or whatever. Someone will punch you in the face.
Actually, someone would probably punch you in your face just because.
Yeah.
These are the same fans that ate horse shit.
Yes.
So,
We
unpredictable.
won. Now's our chance to eat shit in the streets.
Not a joke. This is not. This is an accurate thing that has happened.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Marcos and Gertz made it out of the Philly bar alive.
I wore a green hoodie.
I actually wore a yellow shirt for the Packers. So, I mean,
But you are a large, physically imposing person.
this is true.
Yeah.
You can wear yellow.
I'm like fairly average in size. So a bunch of Philly fans could have absolutely ganged up and kicked my
And I don't know,
ass.
black men don't really wear yellow like that. So, name one.
Mike Tomlin,
Money.
Snoop Dogg.
Brian
Paid.
Flores.
Paid.
I can't name.
Snoop Dogg paid.
So wait, are you saying that black people don't wear yellow?
Not like that.
I was about to say, isn't that the most common video game trope?
What?
Black people wear yellow.
I wouldn't say that. What video games have you been playing?
Tekken. Eddie Gordo wears.
That is a good answer. But no,
If it's not yellow, it's purple.
purple. Yes, we do like purple. We do wear purple.
Yeah, I think of Jax from Mortal Kombat.
It's actually all the bright colors usually work. Yellow's the one I see the least.
I think in the first, Jax first shows up in Mortal Kombat 2, and I think he's wearing red pants, but in 3 he's wearing purple. And I always associate Jax with purple pants. Steel arms, purple pants.
See, Sean, yellow. Balrog does not wear yellow.
No.
Let's see who else.
He wears red, white.
I don't think Dalsum counts as a black video game character, though.
We can't take one from somebody else. That's not fair.
Cyrax.
We've done it.
Yeah. It's so true. Man, the funniest thing is like anything that ever has to touch, even sniff a Middle Eastern character is just like, what are they going to do with this? What are they going to do with this?
See, look, there it is. Eddie Gordo.
Eddie Gordo's. All right. Eddie Gordo's the example.
I like how they have a picture of Tolkien from South Park there too. I can just remember. It's the scene where but you can play bass.
I don't know how to play Tekken. You're
You know what's funny? It's actually so much truer than like it's like in our the base comment is like one of the funniest shit I was like.
I love how he is surprised and then mad that he just is able to play bass right away. That's one of my favorite scenes in South Park.
If you never held a bass as a black person, watch what happens. There's something that'll enter your system.
Well, what did you do this weekend? Did you catch up? Because we had 5 days of straight football. Like, how much did you catch?
All of it.
All of it?
It's all trash.
I mean, I didn't.
Except one game. The Commanders, Washington and Bucks game.
Which was really, really good.
That game was good.
I'm certain we'll talk about it all during the show, but I did see all of the games.
Okay.
I have strong opinions on most of the games, especially one. And there's 2 quarterbacks, not the one you're thinking, because he didn't do anything this week. But don't worry, he'll be home next week. But there's 2 other quarterbacks that I got to talk shit about because suspect. But other than that, the games weren't good. But I would say that they weren't good in the sense of I don't think anybody was a blowout in the first half except for
the Steelers,
which was unfortunate.
I mean, the Packers game was pretty rough.
That one was rough, but I was like, it started off like, maybe they
could pull it back.
Yeah,
maybe.
like, it was within 10 points, and I still, if we're sneak peek, I didn't think the Eagles played that well either for a little bit there. But honestly, the teams that were expected to win did win, so... and my Super Bowl pick is already out.
Both of them are out. I told man when you said the Steelers, I was like, you're outside your damn mind.
I was going for an upset train, and guess what didn't happen?
I was so mad making that pick when I picked the Steelers. I'm like, they're losing this shit pick.
I mean, I picked the Vikings to win, but I thought it was a safe bet with the Rams being as rusty as they are, and that does not work out.
I was fairly confident in that one just because all season long teams that lose to the Lions tend to lose their second game because the Lions just beat the shit out of teams.
Especially when you think about that.
Especially when you got a bunch of players on defense that are playing for contracts and don't know what they're doing.
Well, hey guys, time out. Isn't this in the show?
We can start it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, start it.
We'll talk about sports.
Some soccer bullshit. Ew.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marco. I am the host of the Commitment to Mexcellence, but I'm not alone. Today I am joined by two football fans. Can you guess who they are? Probably not. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Ebony. He's Ivory.
Hi, gang. Living together in harmony.
For now. What's up? It's TJ.
Hi, I'm Gertz.
Thought I wanted to get started with a funny... So I did not know this at all, and it's only sports adjacent. Mm-hmm. Did you know that everything in Patrick Mahomes' life is named after a medal?
No.
It's fucking One Piece? What's happening? Huh?
His first daughter is named Sterling. His first son is named Bronze. Their new kid that was just born today, this weekend, is named Goldie.
I don't like that you're inherently ranking your kids. That's problematic. Because if I roll up and I'm like, Bronzy, fuck you mean? And that's the middle child. Oh, no, they set that up for unsuccess. That's terrible.
Well, I mean, I think they're calling their shot now. You know what I mean? You know that middle kid syndrome. It's just like, ooh.
Bronzy, you can't speak unless spoken to. Yeah, go spend time with your uncle. That's
even worse than that, just because he has a son named Bronze, his dog is named Silver.
So the nigga who's first of all, again, middle child is behind the dog.
Yeah. Lots of families say the dog is the favorite member of the family. I've never understood that. My favorite member of the family has to have the ability to wipe their own ass.
I don't know, man. Children kind of suck sometimes. Children kind of suck sometimes. I'd be like looking at the dog, like, at least you don't give me problems.
Sterling and the dog share the same outhouse. Yeah.
Okay, and I don't mind like family having general themed names. Like how to put it, my family doesn't have themed names, but all of my mom, the names we go by for my mom, me and my brother are all T's, right? But in general, don't inherently rank your children. Like I'm a little against that.
Unless one is awesome and one sucks.
Now, granted,
Let
if you
'em
get
know.
and guess what? Actually, that's something that not enough parents hang over their kids. I will legally change. I have up until 18. I will legally change your name if you're a dipshit. I will fuck your whole world up on those job applications if you want to try me.
Do you have a list of worst names that you already have?
No, it doesn't matter. It's not like that. It's just I'll think of something when we get to that time. But like, you don't get to be like a dope ass name, an inheritor of my genes and name, and you get to be a dick. Nah, you will get put in check.
They're my genes now.
And you will have to wait till you're 18. I'll make your high school life miserable.
Do you have a favorite theme for families' names? Like
No, I didn't know that people actually do that until...
I've got one.
All right.
It's George Foreman. All of his sons are named George Foreman because the theme is George Foreman.
Aren't his daughters named Georgina, too, and things like that?
I think they're named George Foreman. No, but I think you're actually right. I think it's like George and George.
I'm not that vain.
Well, have you heard his reason why? He's like, I want to remember their names. Which, coming from a man that has a lot of brain damage, I mean, I kind of
don't blame him.
I kind of get it.
Yeah. Find it funny now? Chuckles?
I think it's funnier. Honestly, it's meaner, but it's funnier. I wouldn't be able to tell if he's mad at me or the grill.
I used to use the shit out of my George Foreman. I just wanted the little grill marks inside.
Well,
Dude, those things are awesome.
How do I put it? When it comes to theme names, it's because I haven't really. I have thought about kid names before, and I've been together with my partner for a long enough time. We've talked about it, and of course I had to toss out general white girlisms of crystals and Austins. But we landed on some general themes that I'm cool with.
Naming them after anime characters.
Fuck no. I'm not that type of nigga. Not that type of no. But I will say they'll probably get something a little more creative than because okay, so my mom, my brother my older brother has an African name, and he was named after my father. I just got Taylor, and then it was my middle name. It's just I'm super normal till you get to my last name. So I said I'm at least trying to sprinkle a little more creativity than.
I was about to say Manatsa even isn't like that.
No, it's unique, but you have to get there.
Yeah.
You know, you have to arrive at the conclusion. I want that shit top and center. But yeah, I don't know. Kids' names is always a tricky thought because I've always been like, what if I? And of course you can change it, but like once you co-sign it and they're not being a dick, you have to. They're off of that name. That's how they're known.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna have to think about that for a while.
Keen Sloan thinks you're naming your daughter Ace. TJ2.
Well, I wouldn't name my child Ace as a first name. A middle name would be cool though, but I'd have to think about that. So there's a lot of angles I'd take personally, but ultimately haven't decided. And I'm not having kids anytime soon. This century.
This century?
Hi.
This century just started, kind of.
Isn't it crazy?
How long do you think you're gonna live?
How good medicine's gonna get. No, I've always I'm in that weird phase where it's like, yeah, I genuinely, I've always been someone who wants kids. I want 3, but I'm also a person who not in the place in his life where he wants to do that right now.
Well, I understand that. It is funny to brag about not wanting kids and at the same point already know you want 3. Like most people are 1 or 2 at this point.
Yeah, I want 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's so many kids.
I technically want 4. But...
That's even more kids.
Well, haven't I told you before? Like, look, my dad didn't stop franchising. At least I'm keeping it with one person. Like, shit. I want 3 kids. I'm one of 7. So I'm reducing it down from there. My parents both came from 5 sets. So,
my sister was convinced she wanted 3, and she has 2 now, and she's like, I'm good.
My eldest brother has 5.
5?
Yeah. So,
okay.
I'm sitting there. I said 3 was a reduction.
How many were on purpose?
Well, he married into 2.
Okay.
So he married into 2. But he had 3 on intentionally. Intentionally 5 was the goal.
Okay.
Oh, let me rephrase that. No, intentionally, I think 1 was extra because there was a set of twins. But they chose to keep going after that. After the twins.
It is funny that twins do fuck up that plan a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I said, there's part of me that said, and we do have the twin gene just in our family. So yeah. I said, the part of me was like, yeah, I'd like to knock out 2 at once and call it a day. Then the other part is like, no, that fucks up my ratio. Fucks up my timelines.
Because I've definitely had at least 3 friends that were like, I've had 2 or 3 kids. I'm done. This will be my last one, and then I'm getting my tubes tied or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then 2 twins.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Proof that the devil exists.
I said, 2's a win. 3, we have a little bit of a conversation. I'd be like, well, we're done. No, because triplets? I'd be like, I don't know what to do. You see a nigga really panic.
Twins is the monkey paw wish of I want a baby. Finger curls.
That's true.
Yeah. No one wants 2 of those at the same time.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And time. Yeah. And effort.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I said I wanted 3 kids is the aim, and then I want to. I've always wanted to adopt a kid, so 4 total.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of well, it's a 2-pronged approach, and yeah, eventually, whenever I adopt a kid, you can run this back. Genuinely for the support of adopting a child, also because it'd be funny having some random race child with some big black dad. That's just the concept of that just makes me laugh. Who's this nigga picking you up?
Did I tell you guys a story where people thought that that we were biracial, like me and my siblings?
Huh?
So we're in school.
So Tommy was right.
So we were in school and we all did this. Me and my brother and my sister. They're both older than me. I'm the youngest. And every time we went in preschool, and it's like, draw a picture of your family. And every time we drew our dad, he's very tan. And they had Crayola crayons.
So you were like, yeah.
Like brown.
Peach.
Brown is the closest they got. So we all did the same thing. We'd use the brown crayon. And when you see his skin tone, you're like, oh, yeah, I get it. But all the teachers thought we were biracial. And so when they met my dad, they were like, oh. They're like, what's going on with this family? Yeah, exactly. It's like,
You put your dad to the side.
yeah.
You might want to check with your kids.
Yeah. And your dad plays a lot of golf.
On a similar note, not so fun. Well, I mean, it was fun the way she expressed it. I met this homegirl, right? And it was a friend of a friend who's now a friend. And I could tell she was biracial right out the gate. Like I'm like, my black senses are tingling.
Smell it on her.
I was like, one of me, you know. But she found out she was, a child of questionable decisions.
Oh.
Like as you know, within like the last few years, and she was like, yeah, I blew up my whole family. Shit was crazy. And I was like, how do you just? I was like, hey, girl, how did you not know? Both of your parents white as can be, so I don't understand where you got this confusion. And she was like, oh, you see some of our uncles and whatnot. I was like, and according to my calculations, and then B, it was a very interesting, because she was like, yeah, I couldn't seem to make all my friends growing up were also black. I was like, yes. What happens when you're part of the culture? You didn't make this connection. Needless to say, again, she shout out to her for being just so gung-ho about being like, yeah, not my problem to deal with technically. Just dropped a tactical nuke and said, eh.
This makes me think of the episode of Rocco's Modern Life when Heifer finds out he's adopted. Rocco brings it up and it nearly destroys the family.
On the note of just a random black dad, sorry, I just saw this randomly once, and it's just one of my favorite internet clips. That it was like, because the world is so globalized, like how people always adopt random people from China or Japan or whatever it may be. It was like, has anyone ever grown up in China that is just generic white? And it happened. Like, it's a globalized world. So it was one of the funniest clips that I ever saw. Like
we come from China.
Oh, fuck, I can't find it.
别乱说 English or whatever, please, like the China, the elevator. 别乱. If they're talking about you, it's in Mandarin.
Okay, and I can't find the clip, but he speaks perfect Chinese, and he was raised in China his entire life. His parents are Chinese, and I was just kind of like, oh, it goes the other way sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that there are transplants like everywhere.
Yeah.
America is definitely, probably one of the, definitely one of the most mixed countries. Mm-hmm. But you go to places like, nothing's funnier than seeing Nigerian white men. That shit's hilarious because just it's it'll show you Nigerian is a feeling, a theme. It's not like if you're a Nigerian, you're just Nigerian. You sound thick as thieves Nigerian. So, but that's pretty much. But you go anywhere and you kind of find. Like a black person in Asia, right, who speaks perfect Japanese. I've met one of them, and it's just so fascinating.
Okay, this is the clip that I was looking for. He talks in like broken English, and like it sounds like he's making fun of Chinese people, but it's just that is his actual voice.
Yeah.
So Tyler, how long have you lived in Singapore? Singapore, 9 years already.
9 years, and then before that?
2 years in China, then some more, got 5 years in the States. In local food.
So everyone probably thinks this kid's really racist.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very funny to me.
and I think the whole thing, right, is because the way accents are formed, you'll pick up the accent of where you're raised.
Oh yeah, it's a regional thing.
You're not going to. I mean, and if you spend enough time of your life, your accent will also adjust to wherever you are too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's more susceptible when you're younger. But if you, let's say, if you were to go on right now in your current life, we're all around 30. So if you were to go and spend another 30 years somewhere else, you're going to naturally start to conduct and pick up some of the accents that are from those places, because you're going to also start to incorporate words that are from there as well. And so I think it's always interesting when people are, I mean, how do I put it? You are a product of your environment.
Yeah.
And how you speak and accents are also part of that. So it's really cool.
I mean, I have friends from Germany that completely lost their German accent because they've been in the United States 20 years.
I think American accent is like the cancer, though. It's like, like once it starts to take over, it's hard to go back unless you're British. Where, which shout out to being in England, they flip accents so much better than than we do.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say, I thought you were giving them kudos because everyone thinks they can do a British accent and they have to deal with it.
No, I meant like Idris Elba was confused a lot of people until they saw an interview of him just speaking normally.
Well, like to move off all this, which was not sports. Like I said, there was 5 days of football. Started
There's a
with
lot of football.
A lot.
A lot of bad football.
And a lot of heartbreaking football from one sense.
Well, we are going to talk about, I think, the more competitive games in those 5 days of football, the college playoffs.
Yes.
Did you all catch any of that?
I caught both of them.
I caught the end of the UT Ohio State game. Yeah, I saw.
Which was a game.
They were both back and forth. Both these games were.
I saw Ewers lose that game for everybody.
I saw him use that game the entire game.
Well, what were your overall takeaways? So Penn State Notre Dame was so
Competitive.
it was competitive as hell. Also, half of Notre Dame was sick.
And unfortunate.
Did they play or did they not?
Some of them played, some didn't. They just had.
I will say, one thing I want to give shout outs to, man, them college kids play when they're half dead. That shit. The running back from Arizona last week when he played UT, man, was literally struggling and was like, I'm still gonna play. Because you want to, get that, you want to maintain that memory, but it's just it's a fascinating thing to see. That's still not an excuse. This is why you and I've said it before. One of the worst things I don't like with a lot of football and a lot of teams nowadays is just the lack of development towards those other teams, aka your second team, your third team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're on a professional organization. Do I expect the same talent on all levels? Not necessarily. But it shouldn't be these are all people who've managed to make it to the NFL.
Yeah. Should be jumping off sides and holding. And shit.
Like this is and there is just a matter of practice and game time. I know all of those qualifications, but ultimately, especially in a college program where you just have a litany of people who are ready and willing to play, I think Coach Prime does it pretty well, where it's like, he'll find someone who wants to play if you're not ready.
He's a big user of the portal.
He's a big user of the portal and a big user of being like, I'll put my backups in. I'll make shit work. Needless to say, while I feel sympathy for Notre Dame, this is why you have to make sure your team either gets more reps time or prepares. Let me phrase that. How to put it? While I feel bad for them in terms of they would have smacked,
they would have won a little bit better.
They would have won a little bit better. I don't feel bad that the game was close. Also,
I think Notre Dame sent the first black coach to the college playoffs in the modern era. I mean, the championship.
Yeah, I know. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Fun fact for the finals, I have to be because the team that they're going against beat our team, which was another good game. It was the most painful game I've sat through, but not in the sense of it was a bad game. UT's defense was playing their ass off. I'm talking. This is the Ohio State team that dunked on Oregon, and UT's defense was keeping it very competitive.
Ohio State is getting known more and more as a wide receiver university. Like the best wide receivers are coming from Ohio State. Marvin Harrison Jr. went there.
Malik
Neighbors. So I don't know who was on that roster. I don't pay attention until the draft happens too well to teams outside of my conference. But man, that offense
was killing it, except against UT's defense, which was so impressive. And
Ewers decided to cover.
Ewers decided, fuck you. I'm gonna drop every opportunity that this team has to be successful. And and the coach wasn't making those goal line play calls.
Oh, that was terrible.
Were terrible. I couldn't, because you said I saw Ewers lose them game, which he did.
Yeah.
them play calls did not help.
Weren't they
They were on
first and 1 on the 1?
Yep.
Yeah, first and goal on the 1 yard
Let's
line.
take to the outside, dipshits. The fuck?
They lined
They're
up.
almost as bad as another team that's professionals play calls. But we'll get to you.
Why would you ever line up in shotgun in that situation?
I have no idea.
That drives me bonkers every time I see it. When it's 4th and 1, no matter where it is on the field. When
It
it's
was 1 and 1.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yes. When you just need 1 yard, it's like, why are you ever in shotgun? Why the fuck are you doing that?
I did see when we were watching the Packers Eagles that
Ooh, it's not
they lined up 3 nose guards to try to stop the tush push, and I was like, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Yeah.
But still, the NFL is the only place where you're gonna have 350-pound dudes on retainer like that.
Mm-hmm.
College can't do that.
No.
Neighbors is LSU
Yeah, I was trying to think of who it was.
from Ohio State.
Yeah, from Ohio State. Garrett Wilson has played for Ohio State.
Got thick boys on standby.
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave, Joey the Rocket Galloway, Santonio Holmes, David Boston, Michael Jenkins,
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Michael Thomas, Scary Terry.
But yeah, no, the college games were awesome, excited, and that's what you want in some playoff games, like that close and competitive nature that was only exuded in college this week.
Well, it was funny because the first round of the college playoffs was
similar.
was blowouts, and everyone was like, "Well, those teams didn't deserve to be there." But even if at the pro level, if you're getting games like, who did the Eagles play round 1? No, the Eagles played the Packers, but like the Rams. Vikings was a shutout.
Yeah.
I know people feel some type of way about these first week of games, but ultimately, A, it's more football. We always like that. But B, you're gonna have upsets occasionally happen. And while there wasn't actually there was one that happened this time around. Upset in quotation marks. I think most people predicted it, but ultimately, I think it's fine to have more of those. That 7th seed still be a possibility, and I still think though one of the 7th seed games was. I think it was still reachable. It wasn't as bad as the other beatdowns.
The Chargers game was pretty bad.
Yeah.
The Chargers game sucked.
Wasted a Nickelodeon broadcast. Piece of shit.
That was the only thing that made it kind of worth it.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that people were like memeing that once the bubble ate the coach, they were like, yeah, they never scored again after that.
How do I put it? So if we're going game by game,
we got a couple other college topics. Mostly just want to say as a UT fan, are you excited to finally see Arch?
yeah, I mean,
I do think it's funny that everyone is basically sending Hewers off like Skinner in that episode of The Simpsons. Like they're just like, he never said he was going to the draft. He literally was like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. And everyone's like, well, you had a hell of a run.
Yeah, exactly. I know where you won't be taking snaps. Here.
I think
We will cut you.
I think he'll either make a fat contract in the portal, where I think he can get some success, and honestly fine-tune some of those weaknesses he has. Otherwise, yeah, I'm excited for Arch. I'm excited to see something a little more dynamic, because you know what would have happened if Arch was there on one-on-one? He'd run it in.
Well, he is a mobile quarterback, and Hewers is not.
Yeah. Ewers is not really good at anything.
I don't think he's got the skills down yet.
No.
Is what it is. But he can throw a really good pass.
Okay.
But he will crack under pressure most of the time.
Clearly.
And that's and that's the problem. What you want to see from any quarterback, and there are universally, like, this is just an overarching, like, good quarterback, like someone who's like man of many talents, not necessarily a master of one.
Yeah.
But what you genuinely want to see is like something that makes you be like, oh no, that's somebody's like weapon. That's someone's talent. And I think anyone who's a starter in the NFL has something like that, even from the worst quarterbacks to the best. technically from an NFL perspective, they all have something like that.
Yeah.
Using one of my favorite examples, he was technically a starter for a little bit. You know what you're getting with Jameis, but Jameis has a cannon, right? Like, but you look at that and you're like, and that's why you always try and start him, because you're like, at the end of the day, motherfucker can sling a ball. and when you look at yours, you're like, cool. What is that talent?
Mid.
Right.
He's mid everything.
Mid
Just mid.
Because even if a quarterback has a drawback, you're going to play them because of that one talent.
Yeah.
Or that multiple talents. It's why Josh Allen got so much stroking for a while, which this year, power to him. He's cleaned everything up.
He's been great this year.
All the problems that he had. But it's the reason why he got so many passes, because they're like, it's Josh Allen. We take the interceptions because he does the other things very well.
Well, one last note, as we were talking about years hitting the portal, maybe. Somebody else hit the portal. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck hit the portal. Just crazy. Committed to Miami. $10 million to play next year. He's making more than Brock Purdy did his last.
We need. Yeah, Brock Purdy is getting rocked.
Damn, man.
If I was, I hope he was able to work out some incentives or something, because there ain't no way you paying me pennies and I took you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, people are saying, well, maybe he'll take a team-friendly deal. I'd be like, bitch, no.
I took a team-friendly deal for 5 years.
I've been
or
on a
title, but 4 years.
deal. Fuck you. Like, no way. There'll be a lot of teams.
But that is kind of. I understand that he was drafted in the 8th or 9th round and
last pick.
It's not going to happen that often. Yeah. But still, it's crazy that somebody in college is making more than, I don't know,
10 times more than Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy makes like $900K a year.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, trust me, I would play in the NFL right now for $900K a year. Semicolon. However, if I'm your starting quarterback and I'm winning games, key factor, I'm winning games, give me my bread.
Yeah. Also, I live in California.
That's on fire.
$900K
right now.
$900K in California is $20K everywhere else.
Probably.
He can't even go to McDonald's.
No.
Doesn't he live like with roommates, like underneath the stairs or something?
Like Harry Potter?
He has an owl.
Yeah, he lives with his abusive, shitty aunt and uncle.
I legit know for a fact he has roommates. I just threw it the last bit. But,
his aunt and uncle, the Dursleys.
But I do understand why so many players are trying to stay in college so much, because, I mean, Carson Beck will have a future in the NFL, but I'm not sure David Pavila will, who's at the quarterback of Vanderbilt, stay at college. Maybe maybe it's only 800,000, maybe it's only 500,000, but after that, you're gonna go open a car dealership or something like that, or whatever you do with your sales degree.
I don't hate anybody who's staying in college for an extra year. That college football is very different. It's a very different spotlight. You get to be the star of the. It's a different feeling, and if I had, I mean, I think everybody who enjoyed their college experience is always like, oh yeah, if I could do some extra time, get paid for it. To get paid for it, he's not going to class. No one gives a fuck. Motherfuckers just living and playing football.
That is the only part that I don't understand. Like,
how does it work with class?
How does it work with class? Because Webb, who took over from Mahomes, was still in college up until this year. Was still in Oklahoma
Spread out them
State.
Credits real thin.
Take what? 2 classes a semester?
I think you have to have a minimum, but I don't know.
I hope yours, Professor, flunks him.
I don't.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah, if I would not, don't let me teach at UT, because I'm gonna let you know right now, I would be one of those professors who's like, saw you missed a tackle.
Yeah. Oh, imagine if a kicker was in your class.
Oh, he wouldn't pass from the start. He'd have to earn
spelled.
I was about to say McConaughey himself is one of the professors at UT. So
that's right.
Yeah, you have to take 12 hours. Like even at 10 years, like you would have that.
What does Matthew McConaughey teach at UT?
Film.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is he qualified?
It actually makes sense.
I was about to be like, what the fuck is he qualified to teach a film? I was like, no, okay, he probably knows a lot.
I think he knows that one.
Yeah. He's a really good actor. I don't know if he's ever written or directed anything, but
I don't know if he's written or directed anything.
He clearly has a lot of experience as being on set, acting on camera.
I think Ray finally got to meet him this last game.
I saw on Instagram, Ray talking to him on the field.
I would have melted.
You would have what?
I would have melted. I would have been like, oh, he's real. I'm kidding. It's one of the most normalized things to see at UT. Not necessarily to get to be close with him, but just be like, oh, that's Matthew McConaughey somewhere in the realm that I'm walking.
I don't think he's always in his class most of the time.
No, that's not what I mean.
Oh.
Motherfucker's at every game.
Yeah, he's there a lot. I would definitely want to ask him about the movie Reign of Fire. I feel like it's a movie a lot of people have forgotten, and people forget that he's in that. I mean, and he looks nothing like he does now in that movie. Have you seen Reign of Fire?
Yes, he is as big as Vin Diesel in that movie.
Huge. Fighting dragons.
He directed 2 movies in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
The Rebel and Chicano Charlottes.
2 short films, looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did you say That's Chariots?
I thought it said it was in the L.
You can definitely bring up Tiptoes to him, but I think Tom Segura already did that.
Oh, it's Chariots. You're right. Tom Segura, what? Tiptoes?
Talking about Tiptoes.
Well, he was in one of the weird Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies.
That's right, he is. Yeah. Oh God, there's so many Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies now.
I mean, they made a new one last year that nobody really talked about outside of being like, well, that sucked.
Yeah, yeah.
We NFL?
What?
We on NFL now?
Or
Or do you have no college?
No, that was it. But yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember him having arm tattoos.
Yeah. He's good in that movie.
That doesn't even look like him.
I know.
That's the only movie that he looks like that.
Yeah, that's why I'd want to talk to him about that movie, because no one ever brings that one up. That movie is that is a good bad movie. You know what I mean? Like, you watch it like, this kind of sucks, but I'm having fun with this.
Well, he was in Texas Chainsaw 4. Well, before we talk about the playoffs, we're going to take a pit stop at your team, the team with the blue star, just because. So I'm not going to try to dog too much, but it is just very weird that they don't seem to have a good direction right now. Jerry Jones is off making TV shows, but like one day they're like, no, you can't.
When have we ever been in having a good direction? This year's been a shit show, but go ahead.
I would say even the year before you guys were okay.
No, we were. It was better. So this was an interesting thing. If you really want to know, hey, let me pull off the layers. You really want to know what I think did it, or I think really did it? It was Dan Quinn winning his game.
Oh.
Dan Quinn winning his game is why I think things just... Because they didn't really have a contract talk. Jerry Jones is dragging his feet, whatever. We know this with all contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Moment Dan Quinn won that game, that was it. Because the timeline makes sense. I mean, nothing was really confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like okay, they denied the... And it sounded like both sides wanted to make something work out. Moment Dan Quinn won that game. Next day comes out, and he's like, oh, I'm out.
That makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, because it was reported that the issue was the length of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if maybe they had a conversation prior, and they're like, oh, thinking something like this. And then Dan Quinn winning his game made Jerry pull back a little bit. Like,
And
how,
be like,
how about a 2-year contract instead of a 3-year? And Mike McCarthy being like, no, I have a better record than Dan Quinn. I have a Super Bowl. He does not. So I don't know. I think Mike McCarthy is going to be in fairly high demand, actually.
I
I think he's headed to the Bears.
And I'll be honest.
I think he'll be good there.
I'll be honest with you. I know people were like, I'm not. I was never. I think I've been very clear. I've been never super pro get rid of McCarthy. But only because there's not a clear lineup of who's next. If there was a clear picture, and I don't want to, and I'm not a Vrabel fan because technically McCarthy record speaks better, right? But it's basically get one of them Lions coaches or bust. And if we don't,
They might not leave either.
and they might not leave. That's the problem.
That's the thing. Like, I think they like where they're at.
And that Lions organization's finally winning. They'll pay out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the problem. I sat there and I was like, because
Young Herb to the boys.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, oh, TJ's got to be pumped.
fuck no, I don't know what would happen. Don't kick Brandon Aubrey. He's good. But no, again, if there was like a clear like, hey, and oh my gosh, if I hear another look, okay, so
I think I know who you guys are gonna get.
you know that I'm a big Dion fan. I'm a big Dion fan.
Oh, you're not getting.
Oh, that was
and we're not. First of all,
Deion Sanders, and
we're
the
not
Cowboys have mutual
Yeah,
interests.
we're not getting Dion.
you ain't getting.
He doesn't. He knows what. He likes his little Colorado spot.
Yeah.
And let me phrase it. Not little. It's big. It's a big.
He has to
a lot of
rebuild
control.
next
And Jerry likes the attention, which is what the story's doing.
But with Dion, but again, this is no fault to Dion. I'm gonna need a little more winning. I'm gonna need a little more because he's a cultivator. Like Dion's biggest strength. I've said this on the show. He is a cultivator of men. These are grown niggas. Like this is a very different thing. These are not college kids.
You don't think he could go in there and do a good job?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying his cultivation skill, I think, thrives in college because people come to play. People are coming to play for him because he would. I still think Dion would attract a lot of good rookie talent.
Yeah, he would.
Like a lot of really good rookie talent, but he's able to develop people over 4 years, build a really tight relationship with them, almost a father-esque figure for these guys, and that doesn't necessarily translate to a NFL spot. You go to bat for him, like the team would ride or die for him. I'm certain about that.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be if you're going for a culture coach with like some pretty aggressive flows, and what I also would like is I don't think Dion would be afraid to get creative with making things work. No. So that's a win.
No, he would not be.
But there are. But again, I'm gonna need to see a couple more seasons without Shador, and then I'll be a little more confident.
I think Dion. They're not going to get him, but I think he'd be great. Because I think he could come in there. I saw someone comment this online. I'm like, that's true. You could come in there and look Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons in the eye and be like, y'all haven't done shit yet.
Yeah, he would.
And he would.
And he'd have the background to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, he would have he could do that, and they wouldn't be able to say shit back to him. But I think I know who you all are gonna get. You know who I think it is?
Who do you think they're gonna get?
I think you getting Dougie P.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
You would see me melt. I would melt in my seat.
Doesn't it make all the sense in the world?
It does. Too much sense.
He is
Get Dougie P the fuck out of here,
you're
bro.
getting Dougie P.
He's generic white coach.
Super Bowl
85?
winner, but inert. You know what I mean? Like,
and NFC East gets to do their incestuous thing where they keep sharing quarterback. Sharing coaches.
Well, I've heard Kellen Moore's name also being thrown
Kellen
out there.
Moore's not
too.
coming back.
Probably not. I mean, unless
he's okay there in Philly.
I was gonna say they're doing fine. Like
Yeah.
I think.
Also, wouldn't want him. And
I don't think he'd go back to Dallas.
And let me be very clear here. It's not. This is no fault to Kellen Moore. We've had him as an OC. We've seen what he plays like. I want to see him a year. Where Jalen actually looks better than he's playing right now.
I'm getting Dougie P. Just make your peace with me.
The moment you said, I hadn't even thought about the moment you said that, I died a little.
Yeah,
because that's right.
It hit me a few minutes ago. I was like, "Who's gonna like?" Because I've heard people say, "Oh, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson's like they're not getting them." Because I don't think they're gonna leave. I think Ben Johnson is staying put, and Aaron Glenn maybe he might go, but I think he might stay put too. Because I think people like working under Dan Campbell a lot.
He's the vibes coach.
Yeah.
But I think that what would happen, and this is the benefit of,
and he makes fucking Cliff Kingsbury work some fucking how.
Yeah.
and this is the one benefit of Dion. I put Dion in the Dan Campbell camp of vibes coach.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the track record to where I can put him like in a comparable sense. But what I mean by that is motherfuckers would run off a cliff for Dan Campbell. I would run off a cliff for Dan Campbell if I was under him. Dion would be in that camp.
Dan Campbell is like, he's such a good example of like perfect coach at the perfect time. Because I didn't know this until fairly recently. I knew he played for the Lions. He was on that 0-16 Lions team.
He was.
So I think that.
And he started off at 0-3.
Yeah. So he was like
not 0-3. 3 and like 11, 3 and something bad.
Yeah. His first season there.
Yeah, 3-11 and
they
some
were
ties.
Bad, but you could see a difference immediately. It was like, oh, this team's not getting blown out. Like they're playing hard. Their roster's just bad. Now their roster's really good.
And I think that's I don't have a strong coach. There's coaches I want. Anyone from the Lions tree is good for me.
I hope you like Dougie P.
But we definitely I at least like the entertainment. It's just for the publicity. I know it's not
funny
happening.
because the chat is bringing up Gruden. I think Gruden is headed back to Vegas.
No one knows. No one knows what Vegas is doing.
I don't know if anyone. Maybe,
I don't think anyone wants to work for Vegas right now, to be honest.
Well, I don't think anyone wants Gruden at this point. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't be near him with a 10-foot pole, but Jerry Jones is senile.
I'm just saying, if there's anyone that'll give him a job, it's the one person that's his friend.
So he's not going to pick anyone with a big personality. He did that once and he hated it, and that guy won him Super Bowls.
But that's why I said, if the Cowboys' biggest fight right now is, at the end of the day, they need an identity coach. They need a coach that like a culture coach. Yeah. That is the type of coach they need. I said I would like to see more winning from Dion. I would not be mad if Dion came through.
But it's hard to be an authoritative figure
under that tutelage. Yes, under that same.
They've got a culture. It's Jerry Jones.
It's Jerry Jones is the culture, but they need a team culture where it's like, this is a rough and tough type of team. They have the problem is they had the worst stack of like the culture the slight little bit of culture that we had, the high flying defense that we were known for.
Yeah, that
was Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
That was 100% Dan Quinn. Moment that left, went back, and granted, the Mike Zimmer defense started to look a little bit better, but Zimmer's not a culture head.
No.
He's old school, classic, like fundamentals football with a lot of schemes. It's not a bad defense. He's not a bad DC. That's not what I'm saying. But you need some personality and identity, because that's, like, to be honest, Jerry Jones has been counterintuitive to what makes the star be the star, which is Dallas Cowboys should have that loud smack talking type of coach to match, like, because especially with a quarterback like Dak, who's very like, cool, I got to keep my P's and Q's. You need a coach who's able to be like, nah, fuck that, right? And able to kind of articulate the stuff that your QB can't.
You want, it sounds like what you want is a similar dynamic to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni.
Almost, in a sense. But I don't like Nick Sirianni that much.
I hate Nick Sirianni. I find him so annoying, and I don't know what he does. But he does win games. But I can't stand Nick Sirianni. But that dynamic of, like, our coach is the loud vocal red ass, and our quarterback is the cool cucumber, like, that makes sense.
It makes sense, especially considering
the Lions do that.
The Lions do that because no one hears Goff at all. He talks 4 words, and Dan Campbell's like, "Yeah, I'm a baker." Like shit, like that's the type of shit that you need. So we'll see how this goes. If and I mean this wholeheartedly, if that motherfucking Dougie P steps foot in that building,
you're getting Dougie P.
You're gonna see me melt. You're going to see me melt on camera.
Just
Hey
like
man,
this happened.
you're always welcome to be a Commanders fan officially.
No, I'm good.
No, he's not.
No, I'm not. I'm not that much of a simp.
Sam's already joined the Rams bandwagon.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's that LA water. Last time he was there, he got some whiffs of the embers. I don't know what happened. His brain chemistry
Want to follow
changed.
that example?
No, I'm good. I'm ride or die with my sinking ship. But yeah, no, I will say, it was a surprising thing to see, because it was totally a Cowboys move to just not do that.
Yeah, it's just funny. Like,
it was messy.
I never liked Mike McCarthy as a Cowboys coach ever.
Well, it wasn't like everybody before. Okay, the problem was before, when Mike McCarthy was coming up to hire, people were articulating the same shit we talking about now. Need someone who brings in hardcore identity and brings in that culture fit, because we went through 8 or however many fucking years of Jason Garrett, and the only culture he brought was this. He can clap with the best of them. Fuck out of here.
He's got a commentating job now, right? He doesn't coach at all.
He's really bad at it. He does like halftime analysis and stuff. He doesn't. He's done like one game like live, and he was awful.
Actually, Calamity, that's the best way to put it. The only difference between Nick and Dan Campbell is that
that's
Nick,
true.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a really good way.
Nick embodies Philly and Dan embodies Detroit, which is. When we went to that Philly bar, I was hearing the dumbest takes from Philly fans. Philly fans were mad that they were running the ball in the fourth quarter when they were up by 10. I was like, what are you talking about?
You're giving the ball to your best player on the field.
Yeah.
You're running out the clock at that point.
Yeah, you're not trying to score anymore. I even said it to, I said it to you, and Caitlin was like, we still need to score. And I was like, Philly doesn't need to score again. They're up by 6, and their defense is playing lights out. Just hold on to the ball. You're going to win. Jordan Love's playing like shit. You're gonna win.
Yeah, I'm not. But again, like there's a bunch of.
Was there ever a point they were only up by 6?
Yes, it felt like they were up by way more.
Yeah.
But yes, there was a point I think they were up like 16-10.
Because it started. We'll talk about that game in detail because we have other side topics about that one.
Yeah.
I'm just intrigued to see how this plans out. That said, yeah, it was a Dallas move to not do it, and it was a Dallas move to do it in the way that they did. Yeah. So it was like they said McCarthy's not the coach anymore in the most Dallas way possible. So I couldn't even enjoy it.
It was a good example of what Jerry does, which is he often makes the right decision way too late. So it costs the team money.
It's because he's old and slow.
Like
His brain's catching up.
He missed out on interviewing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn because he took too long to make the decision anyway.
Oh, no, they'll come up. I don't. But what was it? Who said it? Troy Aikman said, "I don't think Dallas is a coveted role," and I actually agree with him.
Oh, I agree.
It's not the worst role. It's not that. It is a lot of spotlight, and it's also a franchise that, because of Jerry Jones, it's not a coveted spot.
What's the worst job available right now?
The Raiders, 100% to me. The Raiders suck. Like that's been a rotating that's been a rotating carousel since fucking 2013. Absolutely not. I would not take a job there.
That's a good answer. I mean, I would just so I could get fired and keep getting paid.
That is true. Actually, it would be the best job for someone like us.
Yes.
Who's just trying to be.
Yeah. Rakeen's bringing up the Jets. I don't think the Jets are in that bad a position because they're going to rebuild. That's a generic
I wouldn't say that. They're number 2, but they're not number 1.
No, I don't even think they're number 2.
I think they're not, because they have the owner problem too. Woody?
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
He's bad. 100%. You're not making bad points, but you do remember the Browns have to pay $320 million to a quarterback that's useless, right?
They still have a coach.
Yeah, because Stefanski's not going anywhere.
If we're
going
just talking about the worst places
seats?
to be. With available seats, did the Giants end up firing Dable?
No.
They came out and said, we keep Jit the same, which I'm cool with.
It was weird. They said, we're not going to hire him or we're not going to fire him. But motherfucker, you need to win, goddammit. It was pretty much they put him on notice, while also saying we're keeping you. But so if they don't win this upcoming season, he's definitely out.
Jaguars is a good spot to be.
Dable.
I think honestly, this is a spicy take. Maybe I think the worst job is the Bears.
They have all the parts that they get another quarterback, which sucks. But yeah,
and, it's great.
That division is brutal.
That division's tough.
Raiders have the same issue. To your point.
It's a tough division. They don't have the ownership issue and the craziness that the Raiders do. So but also they kind of need a coach that goes up to Caleb Williams and just says, "Stop being a bitch, bro."
That's why I thought Vrabel was the best choice.
They kind of need like stop making faces. Win some games.
Yes. Yeah, that's stop making faces.
Win.
What's the term? Histrionics? Like his body language is awful.
Just theatrics and just showing out. And it's like, motherfucker, you're not a receiver. They can do that. In quotation marks, we'll talk about one. But I said, they can be theatrical. I'm going to need you to straighten the fuck up.
Yeah.
And lock in.
Yeah. And
so the only time you can be theatrical is if I see anger.
Yeah.
If I see anger or frustration, not that boo-hoo, woe is me, shut up. Play this game.
I want to
Bro, I didn't. So I was trying to figure out who has the worst coaching job by the draft. I didn't know you guys the Cowboys were losing Rico Dowdle on top of.
Oh, you are?
We are?
Yeah.
That is not
Dallas
good.
released Ezekiel Elliott late in the season, and Rico Dowdle is an impending free agent.
Well, I think Ashton goes to us. If he makes it to us, I think we get Ashton Genty.
I mean, you're picking 12th.
Here's my hot take. And it's going to be coach dependent. Let me be very clear. It's going to be coach dependent. If we get someone who has that dog in him,
yeah.
You think you're going to trade up?
I think we have to trade. It's not a because of our financial situation, we have to trade up. We have a lot of missing pieces, so it's this weird place where
I've never seen the Cowboys trade up.
I know. I've also how do I put it?
I've seen them trade back a lot.
Also, never seen the Cowboys let go of. Actually, no, I have. They let go of a winning coach. They did.
I know who you want as your head coach. I know who you want, and frankly, I'd be okay with you having him. I know you want Mike Tomlin.
Yes, you know I want.
And I'd be okay with them taking him.
Because I just think Tomlin needs and Tomlin would bring a culture fit.
You know, I would be okay. People might hate me for saying this. I'd be okay with Mike McCarthy going to the Steelers.
You don't get to say that.
I do.
You don't get to say that.
I do.
And not all this shit.
We will get to you.
You don't get to say that after all the shit you gave McCarthy.
What?
You called him a hoagie eater on the side.
Tommy brought that up. I just co-signed it. Also, he's Pittsburgh as fuck. He's the most Pittsburghian Pittsburgher I've ever. It's ever Pittsburgh.
So that is the most interesting thing. Mike McCarthy, and I hate. And I don't know if it's weird to say this. He feels like a cold weather coach.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. He's like you look at him and you're like, that's a cold weather.
I could see a hamburger named after him in Pittsburgh for sure.
He routinely won games against Mike Tomlin. Like he has a good record against Mike Tomlin. So I mean, he's had more playoff success than Mike Tomlin.
Well, let's go ahead and get into the games that happened this week, because we're going to take a pit stop and talking about Philadelphia and a pit stop about talking about your coaching future. But we start with Tommy, who's not here today.
Yeah, punk ass. No, just kidding. He's busy. He's working.
Making another fence.
No, you can.
He flaked out on the weekend again.
He did.
That imagery is so funny because he does like it's this weird thing where you're like, I don't see him making a fence, but then it's like, yeah. It makes sense. Like he's just sitting there, middle of the night. What you working on, Tommy? Fence.
I had no idea he was handy like that, which is good to know. I'd pay Tommy to fix shit around my house. I'm not handy at all.
I mean, he can fix your chair.
Maybe he could. That's a good point. Yeah, he might be able to.
I'm telling you, it's the Texas in our veins. You put some wood in front of me, I'm like, I know what to do with this.
If I gave Tommy $100, he'd fix that chair, I think.
I think he would too.
Yeah.
I think you just feed him. Yeah, you aimed real high.
If he's a friend.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if he had come over, seen all that Popeyes, and you just threw a hammer like in front of the chair.
Piece of chicken in the hair. Some would get done.
Tommy, that's fucked up, man. Tommy sees that as a contract. One that he would eagerly sign. I don't blame him. I'd work for some Popeyes. That shit's delicious.
To your point, though, the Texans game was first of all, Texans did the one thing you should be doing. They looked and were heating up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's a good place to be.
I mean, they got their shit pushed in, 2 weeks ago when they played the Chiefs on Christmas?
Yep. And now
that was the Steelers.
That was the Steelers.
No, also the Texans got their shit kicked in.
By the Ravens.
By the Ravens.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Look. This is exactly what you want to be seeing from your team come into the playoffs, and this is also what you want to see from a team that's going against the Chiefs next week. Plain and simple. I think that the game was good from the Texans angle, and this is quarterback one that I get to talk about today. I better not hear anything that is pro Justin Herbert for a very long time.
You won't.
Because motherfucker has been. Let me hear another Dak compare. Motherfucker hasn't done shit. Herbert hasn't done anything. Nada. They said the coaching was the problem. They fixed the coaching.
Well, the coaching was the problem.
It
was one of two problems.
It was one of two problems. The coaching was the problem, and they fixed the problem.
We're not going to rewrite history as if Brandon Staley.
No, I didn't say it wasn't the problem. Okay. They said the coaching was the problem, and they fixed the coaching. What the fuck happened now? Now, granted, I will never fault a quarterback. I would not be saying this if it was a competitive game.
Yeah,
it was not competitive at all.
The Chargers roster is at a point where they need to stock back up. but you cannot throw 4 interceptions.
Has Herbert won a playoff game?
No.
No.
He is
no,
0-2.
and that's why I say don't get twisted, Ricardo. Like I just say to Dak is the textbook example. Motherfuckers at least won a game.
He's won 2.
He's won 2 games. You give me something to work with this quarterback, and don't.
The Chargers had like that 3 or 4 touchdown lead when they lost to the Jaguars.
And that one was not on him. Because
No.
he did not turn the ball over at all in that
No.
game. This game was on him 100%.
4 interceptions by Herbert, and in addition, the reason why I put the Dak comparison or the Dak conversation up there is because people often would say Herbert's a better quarterback, and he's not delivered on anything. He hasn't done a single thing to say that this is a fantastic quarterback. He is average, a little, not above average. He's better than the talent is there.
He's 14 out of 32 quarterbacks.
But he's middle of the pack for me.
He's weird because I think his tangibles are great. It's that his intangibles are clearly not. He clearly gets rattled. Like he clearly withers in big spots, which is really frustrating because he's big, he's strong, he's normally very safe with the ball and has a great arm. But yeah, I have been like pretty pro Justin Herbert. It's like I've wanted to see him on a better team for a long time, and I thought this was going to be his first year winning a playoff game. But man, yeah,
I thought they were gonna walk through the Texans. Honestly,
I did too.
I didn't think they were gonna walk through. I had the Texans winning.
Yeah,
but I thought it was gonna be a competitive game. I thought that was gonna be one of the better games of the weekend.
Yeah, I did too. I was excited about that one. It ended up being. Trash.
I will say on that note, he does need better wide receivers.
He does.
His best.
No.
His best was Ladd McConkey.
Yeah,
and he was and Ladd was looking fine. But my problem is there's only so many. But we need. But before I have to start being critical, 4 interceptions is unacceptable in a playoff game.
Yeah.
That's not on your receivers. That's on you. And you know me, I'll be an interception defender. So, but
which is weird because you fucking rip Josh Allen all the time. He actually wins games.
No. I'm about how it was intercepted. Those were bad interceptions.
They were. I don't think any of them were actually like.
One of them was a tip. Only one.
I mean, how many of them bounced off his own receivers' hands? Like, how many of them were his receivers' inability to catch the
No, that's
ball?
what I'm saying. It's like,
Right.
I will be the first person to tell you, like, oh, that's not like, because I've always felt like the interception stat should be a little more friendly towards if your quarterback was not the primary reason, that's not on your quarterback. That said, come on, fuck that shit.
Just on the flip side, C.J. Stroud looking like vintage C.J.
He looked like he
looked good.
D'Amico gave him a hard talking to. Yeah. D'Amico looks like the coach that sat there and said, all right, I'm going to need you to come into my office quick.
I don't want to hear shit from Tommy for the next 3 years. I should really say the next 8 because they've won 2 playoff games in 2 years. At least.
And if they win another, if they beat the Chiefs.
And I'll say this. I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs. I think they're going to injure somebody, though. The way that defense flies around, they're hurting somebody.
I mean, they literally throw punches all the time.
I know, and they got nothing to lose.
No,
they're playing over their skis at this point. Shit, this might be Travis Kelce's last game. Knock on wood.
That's just so funny. Motherfuckers will throw punches, and then their coach will defend them. I said, that's just great. That's exactly what you want.
I'm fine with that. That we talked about it when it happened. That late hit on Trevor Lawrence, slide sooner.
That's exactly what it is. It's on 2 people.
Yeah, you're a runner. You're not in the pocket anymore. Like, get out of here.
Nah. They gon' knock some sense into Mahomes, but they can't. But don't injure Mahomes' ankles. That powers him up.
That's you're gonna have to hurt both of them.
You're gonna have to aim for both.
Yeah.
He might start floating. Yeah. We don't know. But right now, again, Chiefs coming off cold. Though they warm up in the playoffs.
I was about to say,
I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs. That's not what I'm going to pick against the Chiefs this week. I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs, if that makes sense.
Oh, I'm not picking against the Chiefs.
That said, Texans, y'all win against the Chiefs. CJ's locked up his contract for the next forever.
Oh, yeah.
And D'Amico's knocked out his contract for the next forever too.
He'll be maybe no. I was gonna say he'll hang around as long as Mike Tomlin, but yeah, he should though. I mean. If you deny the 3-peat, oh man, that's almost
3-peat killer. Oh,
that's almost better than winning a Super Bowl.
To be honest,
yeah.
To be honest, that's the Super Bowl play.
I kept history from being made. It's like it's the ultimate like negative Nelly.
Because let's be real here. What would be? I mean, don't get twisted. The Chiefs versus whoever comes out of the Bills and Ravens is going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
But the Texans winning would be funnier.
Yeah.
I said the Texans.
If the Texans win, it does make the next game kind of a wash. I feel like whoever wins the other side, I think can beat the Texans.
Not necessarily.
But I do think the Chiefs can come out cold this game.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I said can.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I
they
think it's
will.
there is a possibility, percentile chance of that happening, and then Patrick Mahomes
Because they didn't
remembering that
even
it's playoffs.
play the last week. They had Carson Wentz and third stringers out there.
Yeah, but I mean, you give Andy Reid a bye, dude. He's gonna drop some.
He's in the
wacky
work.
shit.
He's in the workshop.
Yeah, Andy Reid off of buys is ridiculous. So like,
Motherfucker's about to pick up Jamie's, do some fun shit.
yeah. So that Carson Wentz game, oh my god,
It was so bad. Carson Wentz deserves exactly to be where he is. Oh wait, no, he doesn't.
He probably deserves to be in the European Football League.
he deserves to play
Does
for
that
the
still
Shanghai
exist?
Sharks. Like, are you kidding me?
That's who's the next game.
Well, I'm not going in order because I have two that I think are the most
We're
interesting.
gonna talk about Ravens Steelers.
No, not yet. Broncos Bills.
That one. I get to talk about another white quarterback. Woo! Josh Allen had some funky back and forth with the ref. My eyes were on that. First things first, talked about. I said,
Yeah,
that's some preferential treatment.
it 100% is.
Because that motherfucker did the, what was it? They talked about it. They said he did the pat, like the, that's on me, dog. Pat, the refs don't come to the sideline, be whispering in your ear sweet nothings. That's not how that works.
To be fair, it was a terrible miss call.
It was bad.
Yeah, like it was really
that's
bad.
not, but refs don't usually be coming into
I've
that.
never seen that before.
But that said, so this game went. I thought the Broncos would be more competitive. I know it came out afterwards that Bo was playing through a back injury. Don't give a fuck if you're playing on that.
Oh, I didn't
field.
know he was playing through a back
I
injury.
expect you to play better. That said, look, the Broncos are a team that are playing with bonus points anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, I expected that game to be slightly closer than it was, but there wasn't a surprise there. I don't think there was a tough
Once it got
fight.
out of hand, it was out of hand.
Yeah.
And it wasn't out of hand for a little bit, but then it got out of hand.
Yeah.
Next game that I think is the least interesting, and a third white quarterback you can talk about: Vikings versus Rams.
Oh, I like these two.
They're two of the good ones.
No, there's literally the hit list is literally only two, to be honest, and then there's the honorable third one that I had to just mention because he gets too much flack. But I don't really talk about Herbert like that. I've always just been very consistent that I don't think he deserves all the credit that he gets. That said, we don't get to talk about Goff this week, so that's good. No, I like Stafford. So he just came out and said
He's streaky, but like when he's good, he's so good.
It's
I
so
don't care.
fascinating. It's like because this is one of the very interesting things where people are so like I think Stafford has always consistently been considered a really, really good quarterback in a shitty situation for so long.
Yeah.
That it's so fascinating to see him just be like, yeah, no, he's the truest definition of put him on a different team, and he's just thugging out.
Yeah, and even when he was losing games, he was playing with such grit that people loved him anyway.
So he's in like I think CJ was even like Matt Stat like I learned from like a lot of people have used him as a template for some things that they do.
Yeah.
That said, that's I part of me did not want the Vikings to win. But the only reason being is because Daniel Jones was the backup, and I don't think he deserves to even. I don't think he doesn't even deserve.
Hey, he won a playoff game
to
Against the Vikings.
I know. Anytime he's on the field, the Vikings lose.
That said, I also was really liking Sam Darnold's storyline, though, and I did want him to find continued success, or at least get one win, because I do think the Vikings versus the Lions would have been a fun game inherently. Like, and Dan Quinn was even like, "I'll see you in 2 weeks." I don't think that happened, buddy. You wanted that to happen. Now you're gonna have to face the Rams, and we don't know how that game goes because the Rams can just do random shit sometimes.
I was assuming the Rams beat the Eagles. They're playing Washington.
Oh wait, they're playing Washington next.
Yeah. They're gonna mollywop Washington.
I don't know.
Well, we
If they do, I mean, if Washington wins, first of all, I'll pass out. I don't want that to happen. But it's like my lesser team, like, because I like. You know this. I like the Detroit Lions, except for one factor, but it's the biggest deadweight factor.
And you hate the Commanders except for one factor. and it happens to be the same.
Yeah, it happens to be the same. So this
Win-win or lose-lose.
I'm looking forward to Dan Campbell versus Dan Quinn.
That's gonna be wild.
Battle of the Dans.
Yeah, double Dan.
Motherfuckers got nothing to lose.
Dan
As long
Dick
as, it's
energy.
as long as it's 4th and 5, they're gonna go for it.
Yeah. We do not punt. We do not believe in it.
That said, for sure, this game, how to put it, the Vikings, again, a pitiful loss.
Yeah, it was
You
embarrassing.
gotta score.
Embarrassing.
I think Shannon Sharp said one time, you flew all the way across the country just to kick field goals. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what you do to play game. Unless you're the Steelers, that's the only time you get to do that in games.
It's like, well, how many field goals?
Yeah.
if it's 6, I think we got a shot.
Yeah, we're in the same camp. I feel you. That said, yeah, like game was cool. In terms of like Rams winning, it's cool to see Stafford win. I don't think anyone has a bad bone against Stafford at all.
That's a good joke. Highway to the danger zone.
It's not a good joke.
It crack hurts up.
Not really.
No, your enthusiasm is what's confused us.
Honestly, yeah, your enthusiasm and Samantha's approval. I was like,
Yeah, you didn't hear me baby vomit. Like that shit was terrible.
You got a pin particle right in front of you. You can vomit in.
No, I'm good. That said, next game. Oh, we have the two games that are more interesting, right?
Well, one more is left, and it's actually the most interesting game to watch. But I don't think there's too much meat to talk about, and it's the Commanders versus the Bucks.
That was just a good game.
that was a good game.
Yeah.
And both teams played well, and when that happens, it comes down to one team making a big mistake, and that's what happened with Baker.
Baker was running as hard as he could that final drive.
Yeah. He played really well outside that terrible fumble. Like
Yeah.
that one fumble. It gave me Jalen Hurts flashbacks in the Super Bowl last year where it's like, man, Jalen played so well except for that one terrible fumble and it led to a scoop and score. In this case, it led to a touchdown. But same
It's just
thing.
it's unfortunate in the sense of, I mean, that's a good shot by the Commanders in terms of locking it down that way. That said, it's also just upsetting from the perspective of the Bucks because you still, I mean, I think everybody was like, yeah, kind of want to see Baker at least make it to that next round, get that elevate, and I don't want this to deter Baker from playing the way he does. It's gonna win out sometimes. It's gonna end up in some mistakes.
Well, they're just old and they have no run game. Like they should be a lot better next year.
Yes.
Yeah. Why are people hating on Todd Bowles?
His
I know he has a who farted face.
his play calling, I think, was the issue that game.
They also don't have like their tandem. I think people very, very much.
They didn't have Godwin.
They don't have Godwin, which if they have those two live, that team is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, Shaggy Black is also a Bucks fan.
Also, hey, stop hating on Bulls, black quarterback.
Coach, but okay.
I mean, black coach.
Unless you're calling Baker Black, then maybe.
No, we don't do that. Not here, but
He's Italian,
yeah,
remember?
but he can come to the he come hang out, come get some come get some grub at the cookout. I'll be cool with that. We like that grit.
Well, the next game is the one that we actually met up for. I just thought it was cool that we went to an Eagles bar. Like, they actually advertise it pretty big.
Austin's
Looks-
Philly bar.
Yeah.
Was the food good?
The food was pretty good. So it's like a booster club for the Eagles, and they legit get local beer to sponsor it. So the pitchers are $20.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then it's like a pizzeria, and it was a lot of fun. That being said, apparently at the stadium, that was not the case, being surrounded by Eagles fans.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah, this was a...
Big Dom had to get involved.
Big Dom had to lay down the law.
Yeah, they had to... this was a subject that was requested by Rakeem. But yeah, somebody, which ironically we were hearing from one of our friends, Caitlin, that, oh yeah, me and my boyfriend, we go to in Philadelphia. He wears his Cowboy stuff. Nothing happens to him. I wish it did. That's exactly the way that she worded it. Well, it did happen. I mean, genders were reversed, which is probably why it did. But somebody's wife showed up in a Packers jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Just called her a stupid bitch. Goes on to call her an ugly cunt.
Oh, you can't use the gendered words. You could be a dick to your opposing team,
Yeah.
but don't be a dick to her just because she's a woman.
Wow. He has since been banned, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So I do kind of understand everything.
Continue that sentence.
He deserved all the ugliness that came his way. But he lost his job. No, he is a dumb ugly. Yeah, I don't even like saying the C word. But yeah, no, he lost his job. He is banned from the stadium now. Can never go to another Eagles game ever again. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is just that probably be a little bit more confrontational with somebody that's just when you press him, escalates the game of from yelling at your wife's face to I think it went from bitch to cunt. If he's gonna elevate, you need to step in a little bit.
Well, I mean, while I'd personally sit there and say, you wouldn't even get a bitch out before I knocked your lights out. But, but...
You don't even necessarily need a fight. It's just, you need to,
No, I gotta... Because then I'll be recorded. Recorded. That said, to your point, again, I'm all for throwing shit.
Oh, I'm all for talking trash.
But that was super targeted and gendered in a way that is just antagonistic towards a woman for being a woman, which is terrible. I mean, that's it. Sorry you lost your job for calling something, because you can't use words like that to describe people.
I mean,
also, I thought
you can, but you can get fired for it.
I also thought it was funny, sadly, that it's just you think that I don't know, based on his appearance and his language, that it's oh, well, that's Joe Schmo from the bar. No, the dude was a VP banker.
That's especially stupid.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
That's exactly why that shit happened, to be honest.
Yeah.
He was in a place of privilege, didn't think he could be touched. Guess what? When you're the face of an organization,
you're right.
You're gonna get got.
That's a guy who's already gotten away with a lot of shit.
And again, there are just circumstances where you've got to be considerate of the language you're leveraging. Dude, you're calling a group of dudes, I don't like to say either of the words. You call a dude, call a dude group of dudes bitch. A little bit different.
Yeah.
A lot of it different. You used
a lot of it different. Yeah.
You used because it'd be use every descriptor that you could to make that targeted towards the fact that she was a woman. You got what you got.
I mean,
fuck you.
If he had just said "fuck you" and "fuck your team," no one would care.
Yeah. Fuck you for wearing Packer stuff. Fuck you. No one would care.
No one would care.
Yeah.
Fuck you and fuck your Packers. No one would give a shit.
No one is even bad.
I doubt she'd care. She'd
be like, I knew what I signed up for.
Yeah, she'd be like, "This. That's a Philly asshole."
Yeah.
They're everywhere. That sucks. That sucks. And not only that, she had to watch her team look like shit. That sucks for her.
That said, I'm just, again, because there are descriptors and words that could be targeted towards, demographics like mine. But I would be turning this around. I'd be like, oh darn. Whoa!
Oh, right.
Free Cowboys tickets, please. Please. I'll be like, my girl. Shit, if I'm her man, I'm gonna be like, she's been crying for weeks, y'all. The only thing that's gonna make her feel better is a Maserati.
I don't know.
My bill's paid.
I don't know if she's gonna recover from this living in our current house. I just don't know what could possibly amend the situation in our current living situation.
Jordan Love has $240 million. Yeah, $214 million.
Just give me one.
You can't spare a nickel. That's it.
Well, I'm glad. I like that Big Dom got involved too, because he's just like the Eagles enforcer.
He said, if Big Dom says you can't come to the game,
yeah,
you can't come to the game.
Yeah. No, wait a minute. Big Dom has banned you, sir.
But no, that's
oh wow. That's oh, he's the guy that was on the sidelines randomly the other day. I didn't know that.
Oh, Big Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a. I think they changed his title to still allow that. This shit's crazy. He's like the head of something. And I wish a team loved somebody as much as they love Big Dom.
Yeah, because initially when he was first on the sideline last year, people were like, "Who is that guy?" And I think it was just reported like Nick Sirianni just likes having him around. I was like, he keeps me in check. Because I could see Big Dom going up to Nick and be like, yo, man, calm down.
That play called trash.
Yeah. Big Dom could literally just like pick him up and carry him away if he had to. It's doing this for your own good. Come on, man.
He was banned from the sideline for a set period of games, and then I also was like, oh, we should be more. Then I think the NFL sent out a notice of like, oh, like da, and then they just changed his title and said, fuck you.
Yeah, they essentially
Because
just
it's
hired
Philly.
him so they could allow him to be there, I think.
Or like it was like a promotion. Shit was
Right.
crazy. That said, for reals, be a shitty sports fan. Don't be a shitty person. It's simple. Be the scummiest sports fan you can. Just don't be a scummy person, especially towards. Especially whenever, it's always cool to see women come out to sports events, other demographics that don't typically go to those types of events, and not to say women can't like sports. It's just cool to see more women going to sports, wearing what they like, having the gear to wear it. They should feel comfortable in that space just as much as anyone else does.
I mean, I've been in the UT Bowl wearing Texas Tech gear, and I was obnoxious, but I wasn't. Never crossed the line of being disrespectful. I
No.
never called anybody a bitch or anything.
No.
Yeah, just loudly cheered when something good happened.
Yeah.
Booed the refs when something bad happened against my. There's ways to.
Literally, again, the only because I'm so I curse like a sailor, but I do choose my vernacular very carefully. But the only time, again, you'd be like, let's drink this beer, bitches. Like, you can use it in that term. Everybody around you in a group setting where you're drinking, but yeah, no, that shit rubbed me such the wrong way because sports is weirdly enough like, and I know it's like it's actually supposed to be a pretty safe space to be
Yeah.
a scumbag.
What he said, like, it wasn't even like about
sports.
It wasn't even about the game.
Yeah.
It was just like it's almost like he found an opportunity to say something really shitty that
I was
bottled up for a long time.
Was he recently divorced?
Yeah.
Did he
I
have
don't-
something?
He comes
did he have
across
something
like that.
packed?
He has that energy.
I was about to say, like, if he just changed it from your wife is a dumb cunt to Jordan Love is a dumb cunt, probably okay.
People probably wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd be like, so that's a little harsh, but okay.
Yeah.
Typical Philly fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt very targeted.
No, it was so targeted. He was like, is that a woman? She can't be here. Why, dude? Stop being weird. And that's exactly like, again, everybody should be considerate of these things. If you're a VP for a company, you should be extra considerate for these things. Because that's the type of shit that'll, how do I put a point blank period? Like, when the job I have now, they did a social media check.
Even
like,
if he had
they do these shit, jobs have this, like, in the world we live in today, nothing is hidden.
I could believe Philly fans also like thinking what he like not. Oh, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But once someone makes it clear, no, it's like, no, it is. Honestly, if he had apologized, I don't think he would have been in trouble either. He's like, if he was like, I clearly crossed the line. I'm just talking shit because it's a football game. But I can't expect a fan in that situation to have that kind of awareness, especially one who seems like a raging asshole. Like
He
this
doubled
guy.
down.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
doubled down again, which was the most
Yeah.
impressive part.
Yeah,
He said, you know what? I dug my hole, and I'm asleep in it.
If you'd walk that back a little bit, he's like, oh, sorry, I've been calling people that word for years. Especially at
It's a
football
term of
games.
endearment from my country. No.
The country of Philadelphia. Then I think no one would care. But the fact that he doubled down on it, it makes him just look like a real
Because
piece
no
of
one,
shit.
no one expects any Northeast city, state, football team, any place to be inviting.
Yeah.
Those are not the environments for that shit. The words I've been called in New York just for existing.
That was the other thing I was going to bring up. I
Yeah.
mean, again, not defending this guy at all. I doubt this was the ugliest thing said at the stadium that quarter.
Absolutely not.
Probably not.
So it just happened to be on camera. So I mean, I get why I get why a Philly fan might not see this as a big deal. But when someone's like, "Hey, that's my wife, you asshole," maybe walk it back a little bit.
I mean, for me personally, I'm not even that type of dude normally. I'm usually pretty
Even
like,
keeled. Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be like, hey, like, we can figure something out. Point blank period, disrespect my partner while I'm right there. I'm going for the throat. I'm gonna be escorted out. And there's words you can use.
Yeah.
And the words he chose to use are not what's going to be tolerated around me. Now, granted, again, you get one check. You get one little check. You get like try that again.
Yeah.
I won't be like, hey,
Yeah.
that's my no. I'd be like, say it one more time. Be like the Joker meme. Here.
Well,
I have a ugh. Bro,
I mean, I don't put up with disrespect at all. I'm on the same wavelength as you, but like,
Oh,
it's just
because towards me, I would have been like,
no, even like that.
I'd be like, it's me.
But it is just kind of one of those things where you do give people a chance to kind of, hey, just take a step back. Oh, you're gonna take a step forward.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like you're crossing a line here. Walk it back a little bit, buddy.
You get- that's what I said, you
and
get
if
one
they don't,
chance.
then it's like, okay.
Because we in
This
the
is
cold.
how it's gonna go.
Because I'm already irritated. We be in the cold, so I'm cold.
I'm watching my team lose.
I'm my team getting his ass beat, and I've probably been drinking. I need less reasons.
I'm already.
I've always wanted to be in one of those videos where you throw someone down the stairs.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh damn, we in seat.
This is my chance.
Like, how well you know the alphabet? Because we in seat Z, and you about to see A.
So I assume that was her husband there saying like, "Hey, don't call my wife."
Yeah.
So what did he just like go tell security? Hey, this guy.
No, they just posted on the internet. That was what I was gonna originally get into. That I was just like, did he deserve it? The guy getting fired, and all this stuff. Yeah, but I also just kind of think the dude was a little limp-wristed with trying to like, hey, you need to back off.
Well, I mean, I would have appreciated the twofer, right?
Yeah.
Post it to the internet and then say on that internet, that I might have lost the fight, but I did stand up for my lady. And I don't think I'm not someone who stands for violence being the way to solve any problem. But if there's a time to throw a fist, that's one of the times. And then, you post it on the internet and say, woe is me. I need ticket money. My kid's got to go to college one day. I want 3.
Well, from the stands to the game.
The game itself?
The game itself.
Both these teams look rusty.
They did not look very good. Neither of them.
The Packers have one of the worst runs in defense of the playoff caliber teams that were left.
Yeah.
Can we, we'll talk about the next one. Man, all this shit I be hearing about the Cowboys in this run defense, I'm like, these playoff teams can't stop a run to save their fucking lives,
Can't
bro.
stop a running nose, let alone Saquon or Derrick
Like,
Henry.
get Dallas out your mouths, because these run defenses in this playoffs are terrible.
I
And particularly one more so than the other.
Saquon is legitimately.
Also, Saquon's monstrous.
Saquon's great.
Oh yeah,
And Jalen can run the ball well.
yeah. I knew as soon as that option that team came together, I was like, that quarterback option, which they didn't even run that game, was going to be disastrous.
Yeah.
Same with the Ravens, Lamar and Derrick Henry. They do use their option well.
Since the bye, definitely.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a game since where I'm like, why are you not giving the ball to Derrick Henry 20 times? And they have since the bye, they've been doing that.
And then, are we hopping between games? Or are we staying on this one real quick? Because
We can finish out the
okay,
Packers.
because the Packers and Eagles game.
Just got to talk about one more thing about
Yeah,
this.
yeah. You're reading on air, huh?
Yeah.
It helps him get in the zone. Relax, y'all.
I've actually been doing it all season. The cameras just never caught it until now.
I'm. Man, it is distracting. You're right. So my feelings are very simple. Some people have weird game rituals that I'm always
Reading a
about.
book is a descendant of the ancient shark god. On the surface, he looks.
I'm always super pro people. Man, it's so hard. I'm super pro having people have their weird game rituals.
He likes to label
I'm super comfortable with people having, those things that help them get in the mindset of the game. Don't know about this one, Chief. Don't so co-sign or support this one. This is fascinating.
I'm sorry, I just read something very
Fuck you. But no, I have one person who's looking up shark shit, and I got another person who's reading a book. I'm working with nothing here. All right.
I'm trying to find the clip of what he.
Today, I'm only focusing on things that truly matter, like shit that happened in the past that I can do nothing to change. Disappointing affirmations.
I see. Also, I like that book. I said that's a very fascinating read. But I see you're not a fan at all.
Hell no. Hell no, man. That is like the most passive-aggressive, baby shit throwing tantrum nonsense I've ever fucking seen. I've never seen a discontented player pull out a whole fucking book.
A novella.
Yeah, like I've seen players sit by themselves and stew and stuff, but reading a book on the sidelines, man, are you fucking kidding me?
And again, if this were his thing, like this has been his thing that was established,
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, this is just what he does. Like this is the type of player.
That's what he claims.
Nah, nigga, we haven't seen this.
Oh, but this is what A.J. Brown does. Start drama for no goddamn reason.
There was unnecessary. It
It
was
is-
a 10. And granted, you know, and if you were, and I'm even say something outlandish. If you're winning by like 30, 40 points, motherfucker, ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you. It was still a relatively, you know, within the range game of you guys not clearly beating them out like
Did you
that.
see what Greg Jennings said about it? If he had like 10 catches for 100+ yards, you think he's reading that book?
No.
Hell no. Hell no, he's not reading that book.
He only had one target, I think, that game.
He had one catch for 10 yards.
Yeah.
Hence the book. That motherfucker doesn't care about winning. He's like the worst kind of receiver. He's too talented to deny his value. King Shark out there. He's too talented to deny his value.
Smart.
But you cannot win. You cannot win big games with him as your best player. He's not their best player. Saquon is. I would argue. I think Jalen Hurts is better than A.J. Brown. But
I think that's 22 for me, but I get what you mean with that.
I have a very high opinion of Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is.
I do too.
I think he's consistently underrated. But
I think it's consistently properly rated.
But no, this is classic diva wide receiver behavior, and I hate that shit. I fucking hate it. It drives me bonkers. I wanted someone to just come by and throw that book in the trash, but only like 2 players on the team could do
I feel
that.
like Dan Campbell and Dan Quinn would have done that.
Oh, they absolutely would have done that. They would. I mean, I think the only 2 players they would never do it because they both strike me as like really nice, non-confrontational guys.
Yeah.
Would be Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, which they would never do that. But like if you had like, I'm trying to think of like a player on a team that would do that. Like T.J. Watt would do that shit. He would have grabbed that book and thrown it in the trash. I'm trying like other like great players on.
Debo does more for less.
Yeah, Debo chokes out place kickers. Lamar Jackson would have taken that book and thrown it.
Oh, Lamar.
You see how mad Lamar gets over
Yeah.
games? Like Lamar would have fucking walked over and thrown that book in the trash. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm not sure of how, if he would have gone up and done it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Patty did.
Oh, Mahomes probably would. Yeah, I think he would. Tom Brady would. Peyton Manning would.
Tom Brady would do more for less.
Yeah.
Again,
I've seen that man break so many tablets.
Pat Mahomes would get so pissed. It's like, I came here to win, get away from my children, bronze, silver, and gold.
Yeah. I already have to deal with my wife acting like a stupid child, and now I have to put up with you, a fucking 27-year-old multimillionaire, reading a book as a form of hissy fit. Fuck you.
and again, to your point, Juke the Ronin, if he was reading like something like a manga, it would be funny. People would be like, he's just doing it to be a dick. He's reading some self-improvement book. Pick something funnier.
Which I find hilarious, because have you ever heard A.J. Brown say that he needs to do something better? I haven't.
No, you're right.
He's like, oh, our passing game stinks. It's like, oh, really? You know, I've noticed good word usage there. Not our receiving game. Last I checked, it's a two-way street. Guy throws a ball, you catch it.
Hey, now look here. We didn't talk about this earlier, but I did mention it in the chat earlier today. At least he's not Deontay Johnson. You know, he's problematic, but contained. So, you know, and problematic he's not problematic in the sense of like, oh, he causes like tumultuous. I mean, he causes drama in the sense, like he causes light drama. Like he's like that kind of like annoying, like, man, just lock in, like that type of thing.
Oh.
For some reason, Deontay Johnson just keeps on getting kicked off teams, and no one wants to talk. Like, motherfucker, it's what type of player do you have to be to get kicked off a playoff team when you caught? Like, you have to be an active distraction. So he's not that.
He's George Pickens with a better roster.
George Pickens needs to be off your roster.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Okay.
You've been with this offense now for 3 years. Have you seen signs of growth, and how much more does this team still need to grow offensively?
so for the record,
Yeah, I've seen signs of growth for sure. From past, the first year I've been here. Just way more growth for sure.
George, does that make you optimistic going forward?
Can you pause it?
Nah.
I loved that. I loved it.
I know you. I know you.
I loved that. And George Pickens has done some crazy, stupid shit. But I think every Steelers fan feels the exact same way. I love that.
I don't.
I am weirded out. So if we can talk about the game, which is basically the Ravens ran all over the Steelers, beat them in a way that I didn't think was gonna happen. But I'm just weirded out by overall at this situation now, where every Steelers fan is like, we need to get off George Tomlin. Every Steelers fan I know,
Mike Tomlin.
Everybody else is like, that's the dumbest decision to fire him.
Well, we're not living through it. And I get the mixed feeling because the consistency of going to the playoffs is a nice feeling, especially considering, ultimately hasn't had a losing season yet. But it's just mixing something up and getting some change of pace in there because because at the end of the day, when you're not gonna, we're not in the same camp, but we live in similar camps where when you're in a place where you're not good enough to lose and get good players, but you're also not good enough to win and just win out. It's a very shitty place to be in. That said, because I want to give you the floor. Before we get into that, fuck you. George Pickens is not good enough to be doing that. That's the only problem. I don't love that from him in particular. TJ Watt can say whatever the fuck he wants.
TJ Watt can say whatever he wants. George Pickens is the best player on his side of the ball.
He hasn't, but to me, he hasn't done anything to earn that right to be able to address it. Because he gives up on routes. He's a problematic player across the board.
Yes, he is.
And honestly, any other team would not be putting up with these shenanigans in the sense that Tomlin does because he's not good enough to warrant these shenanigans.
You know why they put up with it?
Because he's
the best player on his side of the ball.
Because they don't have anybody else as a receiver.
I know. Which is why he's not optimistic.
But he's not a leader in any sense of the word. He's not the type of talent that you'd want. Let me phrase it. He's the type of talent you'd want on your team, but he's not mature in any way, facet, shape, anything in that way. And it's frustrating because it's like, it'd be more frustrating if I knew, that talent wasn't there. Yeah. It's there. He just chooses to be. I don't know. I don't think he could. To me, he hasn't given me any reason why I don't think he'd act this way on other teams, even with scenarios that are better. He would be like an AJ Brown.
I think he would be an AJ Brown on a better team. I do. Which a lot of people defend AJ Brown for reading books on the sideline.
No one defends George Pickens though.
No.
I don't think anyone has given. But to your point, this game was upsetting in the sense of. And the worst part about it was this game was upsetting in the sense of, there was a streak, I think at the start of the game where Lamar ran 6 times in a row. Yep. And I said, y'all are losing on defense. You can't lose on defense, Tomlin. No. There's a very different thing when you're losing on offense.
Our defenses looked like ass for 6 weeks straight. It's been bad. It's been terrible.
There was no adjustments. It did not look. Nope. So sorry. Sir, this is your team?
Yeah.
Have the floor.
Yeah, it's over, Johnny. Mike Tomlin's got to go. I've been on this all year. I'm like, win a playoff game, which is a reasonable expectation.
Heck, leave me out of it. don't look at me like that.
The man is 0-6.
You know I can't say that.
0-6.
Black coach.
You know how many years Mike Tomlin has been the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? How many years? Do you know?
9.
18.
I know that.
Oh, shit. 18?
18.
I know his Super Bowl was in 2008.
You know how many of those 18 years he didn't win a playoff game in? 14.
What?
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a fuck ton. That's a lot, man.
How many
people who are saying Steelers fans are being unreasonable? Fuck you. We haven't won a playoff game since 2016.
How many seasons have you missed the playoffs?
Well, now that there's 7 teams, that doesn't really count.
But how many?
I remember the year that
more opportunities to win playoff games is what you're saying. Opportunities that this man has not capitalized on. I saw Daniel Jones win a playoff game. You know how fucking infuriating that is?
Now, granted,
I don't remember the bracket exactly, but I do remember Big Ben's last year. They played the Chiefs. He straight up treated it like, yeah, we're just happy to be here.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit.
what I will say, and this is the only thing, because I will not sit here and you can get on to me for this. The play calling was atrocious.
Yeah.
I do not co-sign Tomlin. I still don't like. I think Russ is not getting enough eyes on him because I don't think he played great that game.
He played.
He keeps doing Russ is doing something that has always fun. I don't know. He's kind of conformed to a Steelers sense of offense in the sense he drops. He does. There's plays. And I think you heard me say this about the Steelers last time, and it was actually the Eagles did this too, where they just go and do dump offs to the side.
Yes,
that's not going to win you a game.
You know what he looked like in the 6-game stretch? Every other Steelers quarterback for the last 7 years. At what point are we going to stop blaming everyone else but the guy who calls all the shots? Because Mike Tomlin calls all the shots.
Well,
that's a Mike Tomlin offense and defense because it doesn't matter what coordinator he hires, that always looks the fucking same.
Well, you know that I'll die on that Tomlin hill, but
all right,
I will still.
I'll dig it for you.
What I'll give you is this is probably one of the games where I was like, because again, Tomlin's biggest thing for me has always been like, all right, look, if that offense looks bad, you're giving me something.
Yeah.
And don't get twisted. They're gonna run up and down on any team, but it's got to be kind of sort of competitive.
Oh, that team had nothing but quit running through their veins,
and that's what it felt.
That's on the coach.
And you want to know where I really thought the game was over? When Minka Fitzpatrick got stiff armed and sent to the shadow realm, and I said, and Derrick Henry after the game was like, "Oh, on the field it's business." He's my boy. I said, no, we're not boys. If you do that to me, you're going to have to give me a gentle stiff arm if I'm on the field.
That's not your boy. That's your son.
Yeah, yeah, that's your boy. Yeah.
Yeah. You know when I knew the game was over? When it was 4th and inches and we punted. I was like, bitch. Move.
There's a level of
you need to play that game like you're
aggressive. Yep.
Yeah, because you are. Like this is a game that you have to steal, and you steal it by being gutsy.
And
4th and inches.
And it's one thing,
fucking coward.
And I do think that is going that is Tomlin's worst flaw is his conservative lack of aggressive nature. He plays the game like there's 4 quarters against teams that you shouldn't play the game like there's 4 quarters.
Because there are a lot of teams that are like, our game plan is to end this in 2 quarters.
And even I give and you know I don't give him a lot of credit on a bunch of things. Even Mike McCarthy knows that when to be aggressive. He would never be like 4th and inches. He was somebody who would still go on. He's not like Dan Campbell. He's not like those coaches.
No.
But he's not lay enough to look like, oh, that's an amazing team. I'm not going on 4th and inches. He's going to risk the gambit and then trust his defense to do what it needs to do.
Especially when your defense is playing as badly as it was in that game. That's what Dan Campbell did all year. It's like one of the reasons they're so aggressive on offense was to keep their defense, which is held together by duct tape and gum.
Skittles. Yeah, licked Skittles.
Off the field. So, no one can tell me what Mike Tomlin does well anymore.
Be an icon.
I mean, he says
not lose.
He says quotes at press conferences.
What are you talking about?
I mean, I watched the man lose to the Browns and the Bengals this year. He knows how to lose some games.
Now, and
he's Jeff Fisher with the Browns in his division.
And he's brown, and we like that.
I
will fight that fight.
I love Mike.
Now,
Tomlin.
granted, if you sub him in with Aaron Glenn, we're good. But said all things equal. And I will not be too mad. That said, I do think, and this is just, and I've said, the only thing that because jokes aside, what I support you on is, 18 years is a long time.
It's a long fucking time.
And that's a good run. And
14 and 18.
And you want to go, and he's going out with still a bunch of amazing credit. He'd be a hot commodity anywhere he touches. Like there would not be ill will.
The Bears should be pounding on the door to get him, and we should be willing to listen. I saw his press conference. I don't know when he gave it. I saw it today. And he made it very clear that he doesn't want to go anywhere else. Someone proposed the question of, like, are you open to a trade? And I forget exactly what he said. It was a typical.
I don't think you can trade coaches.
You can.
Oh, you can?
The Saints did with Sean Payton.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, you can absolutely trade coaches. So I don't know what the terms are for Tomlin's contract. I'm sure he'd have to agree to the trade. And if he doesn't, I'd say fire him. I mean, if he won't agree to the trade and you cannot trade him due to his contract, fire him. It's over, man. I mean, he'd get snatched up fast. But when finally, like, when Rich Eisen is finally being, like, and Rich Eisen is one of the staunchest Tomlin guys I've heard in the media who's not a Steelers fan, because he's like, I think it might be time. I'm like, yeah, it's been time. It's been time. Honestly, if we look back on it, it's been time for the past about 4 years.
I'll give you 3, but only reason
I
said
heard
3.
the argument by another Steelers fan that I think it was 2018. That was his.
Yes, because we didn't win anything with Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, or Antonio Brown on the same team. That's a stacked roster, and we achieved nothing with it. Nothing. Didn't even make a Super
in
Bowl
his
appearance.
defense, there's 3 bad apples and 3 rotten apples. Motherfuckers
You know who wanted them? Mike Tomlin. At some point, the man needs to be held accountable for our roster's problematic behavior. Either he's coaching it or condoning it.
I've said it before.
People are going to get mad at George Pickens for answering a question honestly.
He collects problematic Negroes like infinity stones. Let the nigga live, all right? And that's okay. Said, let him live.
I just don't know how to use the stones to destroy the stones.
That's exactly what he does. That's the only way that he can keep that shit together. When you have enough problematic on the same team, it all checks itself.
I mean, that's why
I actually don't remember 2 of the things that this other Steelers fan brings up. The Jacksonville debacle. I'm guessing you lost to Jacksonville in 2017
with Blake Bortles.
And the X-ray machine. Don't know what that means.
I'm not sure what that's referring to.
Yeah,
have to be more specific.
And then the inability to corral the cancer in the locker room.
Yeah. I don't know what he does well anymore. I do not know what he does well anymore.
Well, the only problem is I don't think it is I don't think it's indicative with. I'm gonna be real with you. Like I don't think. Again, I just don't think Pickens should be the one who's indicative of like any locker room feelings or scenarios. He's just an ass.
I get that,
but if TJ Watt said something would happen.
Right. It's just, I mean, TJ Watt would never do that
because he's not an idiot.
He's not an idiot, and also like he loves Tomlin. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I've seen people love people who aren't good for them. I see that a lot. So.
Why'd you look at me when you said that, man? why'd you look this way?
That was not directed at you. Yeah. But it was more directed at people you don't know. But yeah, man, I've loved Mike Tomlin. I've said that for years, but it's clear to me. It's like, the problem at this point, it's him. It's him. They win 9 or 10 games and then they shut down.
It's definitely
I don't care about the no losing season thing anymore. Better coaches than him have losing seasons. Andy Reid has had losing seasons. Andy Reid.
I was about to say, I was like, that is a big. But what I would say,
I don't care about it.
Well, what I would say is, I think because of the nature of this, I think what the Steelers need, outside of just if Tomlin has to say, and it's still up in the air, right? It's not been confirmed. If Tomlin has to stay, then they have to talk to him about just letting go of the reins on something.
Yeah.
And because I do think he could, if he were able to completely focus in on the defense, right? Just say, because I don't think he's offensively minded one bit.
No, he's not.
So
he's not.
you've got to be able to say, let's pull back. Oh yeah. What's up, Argo? Thank you for raiding with a party of 8. You've got to be able to say, let's.
Oh, Ricardo knows what it is.
You've got to be able to say, cool, let's try something else. And hey, fucking Nick Sirianni, had to said sit your ass back somewhere, right? And some teams just have to do that sometimes. I think he needs a little. But again, if he goes to a different team, I think that'll also help out too because
100% would.
it'll
The Eagles and Andy Reid benefited from separating. I feel like is the best argument to why they should go.
That's my feeling on it.
And I don't think again, it's not even a matter of job to be like Mike Tomlin would get a job.
He'd get hired immediately. The Bears would take him in a heartbeat, and they should want him because, to your point, they need a coach to tell Caleb to stop being a bitch.
Oh, and if there's any coach to tell him to stop being a bitch, it'd be Tomlin. Don't take that very kindly.
No. The thing is, like, I love his aura, and I love.
He has. It's so frustrating for you because I get it. He has every quality of the type of coach you would want.
Yes.
He just has not closed the deal.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't put the team in positions to succeed either. Once they get there, I never see this. They don't surprise me anymore. You know what I mean? It's
They're
like,
not creative.
No, they're so like. I feel it's one of those situations where it's like, he's a culture guy, but the Steelers' culture has been great for a long time. And the other thing that frustrates me is like people are like, good luck finding a better coach. It's like, if any organization could, who it would be? The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers is a top line. Like, Steelers is the exact inverse of the Raiders.
Yes.
You get a Steelers job, you're good for according to my calculation, 18 fucking years.
Yeah, you're good for,
if you're winning.
You're good for a decade and a half.
I think they've only had like 3 or 4 coaches.
They've had 3 coaches since the 60s, I believe. They had
Motherfuckers are coaches for life.
They have Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. All 3 Hall of Fame coaches. At some point, we criticize organizations for making bad decisions a lot. Rightly so. We got to flip it sometimes. It's like, the Steelers are really good at hiring head coaches. I'd kind of like us to do that again. I mean, my number 1 choice has already been snatched up. I wanted Vrabel.
Has he signed?
Yeah,
he's a Patriot.
He's with the Patriots.
Oh,
that's why they fired Gerard Mayo.
When was that confirmed? Over the weekend?
Like a few days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I was out of that.
That's why they knew that was going to happen. Did you see when after the Patriots won that game and lost the number 1 draft pick, the statement that they put out?
Mm-hmm. This is the toughest decision.
My point being was the length of it. Mm-hmm. They had that shit written weeks ago. They knew. It's like, we're going to fire this guy to get Mike Vrabel, which I get people being upset about it. When you have a Mike Vrabel available, man.
I don't get the Mike Vrabel short stick.
You don't?
Right. No, I don't really,
Dude,
truly don't.
Look at the Titans now. That's all.
They were bad before.
That's all I need to see.
No, but they were literally competing to be in the playoffs. They were beating playoff caliber teams,
and they were they don't have anything to show for it.
They got to AFC Championship games with shit rosters.
And again.
That's so much more than Mike Tomlin has done in 8 years.
I'm just saying I'm not a Vrabel like lover of men like that, but I get what you mean when you say that's the sort of like you just need someone to push you over the edge. And hey, look, I'm not going to give this team any credit. The Cowboys fired a winning coach.
I know. I take Mike McCarthy,
and they were like, "Yo, we just need someone to push us over the edge."
I would like a more offensive-minded coach. I would. Now, Mike McCarthy doesn't have a ton of personality. That might come out in Pittsburgh, actually, because he's from there. But I don't know. Like, I would like a more offensive-minded coach for sure. It's done. It's done. I don't think he's going to get a new contract. He doesn't deserve a new contract. His current contract runs into 2027, if I remember correctly. Ooh. He signed his last contract he signed was a 3-year contract. So.
He says he doesn't have a no trade clause.
We don't know.
Does he have a no? Did you look it up? Yeah. He has a no trade clause in his contract. Which, I mean,
they could just fire him.
At that point, they could fire him. Or, I mean, if the no trade clause thing, I mean, that is a thing. When your employer says, "Hey, we don't want you anymore," that's motivation for me to want to go somewhere else.
But also,
personally.
I feel like I feel, and this is one of those rare scenarios where I do feel like the owners of the team and Mike Tomlin have had a long-standing enough relationship to where they can handle this respectfully in a manner that's like, "Yo, we just have to do something."
Yeah.
And we want to put you in the best position possible.
There's no way the Steelers could get rid of Mike Tomlin and look like the bad guys here. None whatsoever. None.
They switch a black mic for a white mic.
Same wavelength there. I was like, there is a way.
The rule is named after the owner of the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Rooney Rule.
Hey, D and I's getting kicked out everywhere, baby. I'm just saying. This is not. There is a. I mean, Gerard Mayo, AP. I think Mike Tomlin had a way better chance before they went. To be honest.
I get the optics are bad for both of those coaches.
Yeah, the optics is really bad.
But those coaches are objectively terrible.
Yeah.
Mayo and Pierce are terrible coaches.
I don't think they're objectively terrible. I think they were put in places to not succeed.
They have like 5 wins between them, I think.
They have
the Patriots job instantly became
6 or 7.
the best job as soon as they fired him. It was like everyone's like, well, that's clearly the best job.
Well, yeah. I think there are
got a good quarterback.
Two different scenarios.
Yeah.
I think John Mayo was hosed,
Yeah.
but I at least can understand it from the perspective like he did not handle his press conferences right. AP was just screwed, and I don't think the Raiders is like the optics around that are still that the Raiders were the shitty end of the stick.
Antonio Pierce did a lot to hurt his case.
I mean, he sent whip-de-doo, they got more draft picks from it, right? So
When Devontae, when your best player is like, I want out, and your head coach likes it on Instagram, I'm like, yo!
that's exactly what I would do.
Do not do that. Well, you want to get fired. We said. So, like.
Maybe my motivation is a little twisted.
With these guys, with Mayo and Pierce in particular, I'm like, oh no, the consequences of my actions. Like they were bad head coaches. They were bad.
Or, again, just saying.
I mean, I think the Raiders, to your point, I do agree that any head coach that takes the Raiders' job is set up to fail.
No,
But failing is failing either way.
To be honest, if you're taking the Raiders head coach job, I know what's up. You're on the same plane
Their
as me.
star defensive players thinking of retiring, according to Sam.
Crosby?
Crosby. According to Sam, he
He's
said
not going to
that.
retire. He's going to go somewhere to win a game.
According to Sam, he thinks that Max Crosby's tired of getting hit in the head and might retire.
Well, we all know Sam is very unbiased when it comes to Raider topics.
Yeah, I mean,
I do get, on the other hand, like...
don't use Sam as a reference point, except for anything other than the Raiders.
Well, yeah, the Raiders.
But the head hitting thing, nah, that's just coming from someone who's upset.
I mean, Steelers...
And rightfully so. The Raiders are an upsetting team.
On the short list of, like, coaches that I think would be great for the Steelers, I mean, Vrabel's gone.
They need to really... They have no run game. They have no star wide receivers. They need to get a new quarterback. So that is literally building from the ground up.
No. They have a run game. They just don't want to use the guy who's fantastic at running.
Yeah.
I think that's where
Our O-line's bad.
I think that's where Tomlin also struggles. He's a pretty loyal dude, and I don't think he needs to be loyal to anybody.
The term toxic loyalty.
Because Justin Fields should have touched this field way more than he did.
Yeah. That Tomlin is a good example of loyalty being toxic. Matt Canada, I mean, come on, man. Really? I mean, Aaron Glenn, I would love us to talk to him. Brian Flores, love us to talk to him. I mean, everybody would love to talk to Ben Johnson. I actually think Ben Johnson would be, I have a hunch about him that I don't think he'd be a good head coach. I think he's too crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's exactly where he needs to be. Like, I think
he's a loony man. The motherfucker made a trip play, bro. A trip play.
Yeah.
Motherfucker psycho.
He asked Jared Goff, "Hey, on this play, could you fumble it for real?" And Goff was like, "Nah, I think I'll just pretend to fumble it. I think it'll work." Like, Ben Johnson's a crazy person.
Well,
Yeah, you want Robert Saleh?
No, I do not.
pure psychopath.
You're a sociopath.
I was one of the few people that actually defended the Jets firing Robert Saleh. I mean,
Yeah, why don't you get Saleh?
that take has aged poorly. But at the time, I was like, he's a bad coach. Like, what more do we need to see from Robert Saleh to know that he's not a good head coach?
I thought he was leading the Jets in the right direction before they got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and then they did.
I feel like any team that has Rodgers, is immediately.
I am learning more and more. I don't know how much of it is plus or minus more on the GM than the coach. Sometimes.
That's also something that I don't think gets called off.
Jets have talent, though.
But that they had talent, like when they were working with their coach.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, it became the Aaron Rodgers team. It was his talent.
Yeah.
Who did he want on the
this
team?
most recent season, yes. Did Devontae Adams trade? Did that happen after Saleh was fired, or no?
I
think it
don't
happened before.
even remember.
I forget. It's such a shit.
But it
show.
still makes it Aaron Rodgers' team.
Yeah. it
I don't know, because what I brought up that, hey, we're going to talk about maybe Tomlin being fired, one of my friends' argument was like, but he's led some bad teams to the playoffs, and I was like, I'm not.
It's just it's your motivation as a team, right? Because yes, it's great to go to the playoffs, and actually that's what you want as a team. But it is about seeing some sort of forward progression in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's the delta for the Steelers. Going to the playoffs isn't special for them. Now, if they made it to a conference, no one's gonna. No, like to me, I do call kind of bullshit to people who are like, oh, they made it to a conference last year. They got to make it. No. If they make it to a conference, that's a great. That means you had a great season, and sometimes that just doesn't happen again. Ultimately, though, that hasn't happened.
No. And also, it's one of those things where he took some bad teams to the playoffs. You know how we knew those were bad teams? Because they got destroyed in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So It's one of those things where it's like, we didn't really know how bad they were until they got wrecked in a game that really mattered. And Mike Tomlin has a lot of say in that organization, a lot. Do you think that they put this roster together without his approval? No. Fuck no. Fuck no.
You're not there for 18 years.
Exactly.
To be 18 sounds.
He's not gonna like. I hear what you were saying earlier. Mike Tomlin does he strike you as a humble man? No. And
an ego.
I love swag. I love a little bit of ego in my head coach.
The exaggerated swagger of a black teen, if you will.
Don't do that. See Mike Tomlin swinging through the Pittsburgh skyline. Exaggerated swagger. But I value self-awareness too. Like Dan Campbell has self-awareness.
I don't mind.
Andy Reid has self-awareness.
I don't mind ego coaches.
Yeah.
If you deliver it on the ego side, and he has it, and it's so
a long time.
He has. It's so frustrating because he's like 90% there. You just have to win. Yeah. And then you get all the then everything about Tomlin is 100% factual. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. It's even and to tell you how good of a coach he is, it's even tough. Like, I mean, the fact that people are still being like, this is a tough conversation is telling you how much like he's the hottest commodity on the market if he touches the market.
Oh yeah.
Period.
I
fuck a Ben Johnson. Fuck Kellen Moore.
I 100% agree with that.
He's one.
If he was available, teams would be banging on the door. That happened with Andy Reid though too, and it was still the right decision for both Andy Reid and the Eagles. They finally won a Super Bowl. They never won a Super Bowl with Andy Reid. So
and Andy Reid's won more Super Bowls than he knows what to do with. To be honest,
about to win 3 in a row, maybe.
So it'd be 4 total with this one, correct? Andy Reid's won 3. He's already won 3.
Gross.
Well, let's see if that happens, but I'm doing some predictions here really quick, starting with, actually, the Chiefs and the Texans.
Did we talk about every playoff game? Did we get to
that
one? Okay,
we did.
Okay.
Oh, and, sorry, Lamar and Derek looked great.
Of course. I mean,
Lamar looks clearly like the MVP, as he should.
Think Lamar's going to win it?
He better.
We'll find out here in 2 weeks.
If it doesn't go to Lamar, better go to Saquon.
It's not going to Saquon. Saquon ain't getting it.
I know.
It's either going to be Josh Allen or Lamar.
Josh Allen is going to go to an AFC Championship game with his fiance.
And let me know let me say very clearly, if Saquon does not make it to the Super Bowl, he is my take-a-lap of that week. Not because of the team is the take-a-lap, because of the way they handled that situation. But go ahead.
Texans, Chiefs.
Texans.
Chiefs.
I'll take the Chiefs as well. Lions, Commanders.
Lions.
No comment. I can't pick between these two. I don't want to see. Oh gosh. Do I think the Lions will win? Yeah. Do I want the Commanders to win? Kinda. Do I want both these teams to kind of eventually tire themselves out and be unable to compete? Yeah.
But then you'll get the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
But I'd rather have I'd rather have the Commanders. I think what I will say is I think the Commanders. I think Jaden Daniels making it to the conference championship in his rookie year is just as a compelling storyline as the Lions making it to the conference championship.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
Jaden Daniels winning. It was already
a rookie doing that. I mean, how many rookies have won more than one playoff game? Has that ever happened? I don't think that's ever happened.
More than one playoff game?
Yeah. Has there ever been a rookie to win 2 playoff games or more? I don't think it's ever happened.
A rookie has won the Super Bowl.
A rookie quarterback?
Sean King with the Buccaneers, but I guess he was a backup.
Ah, okay.
Rookie quarterbacks win 2 playoff games. Joe Flacco, Mark Sanchez, and Brock Purdy.
Brock did win.
That's right. Brock Purdy did win multiple playoff games as a rookie.
Damn, how come that nigga doesn't have a contract yet? That's kind of that is astonishing.
The Brock Purdy conversation incenses me. Like, he is very
Is it
good.
Tommy that thinks he's overrated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tommy thinks he's like just middling. It's like, dude.
I don't think he's middling.
No. He's very
I think
very
everybody
good.
tries to disenfranchise him just because of his draft pick, even though that means Jack Diddley shit.
It means nothing. I hate that.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. Where he went in the draft does not matter. It does not
How
matter.
many
It
first-round draft pick quarterbacks actually thrive?
Yeah. It matters, I guess, in contract negotiations, literally, but in terms of what you put out on the field, it does not matter. Derrick Henry was picked up in the 2nd round.
That's still pretty early for the draft, but
Tom Brady went in the 6th
that is a good example.
Yeah.
I will take the Commanders.
over the Lions.
Yeah, I just feel like the Lions are just super beat up. We're like, but that just means like
people
next
keep saying
year.
that. People keep saying that,
They've been
and they
saying
keep winning.
it for like 9 weeks, man.
And they had a
know,
rest
but
period.
it just gets
And
harder.
Anzalone's back. I didn't even know who he was, but he looked. But everyone was saying like he's a big difference maker, and he clearly was in that Vikings game. So,
I do think that if the Lions, even if the Lions do lose, like not win a Super Bowl, they're just going to be that team next year, though, for sure. They get Aiden Hutchinson back. They get like 20 starters.
what gets me with the Lions is like I know they're beat up, but they do not look beat up. They look like they play like they play like they got to shit their pants or something. It's ridiculous. They play so hard. So, I mean, yeah, I know they're depleted on defense, but I think this game they're going to be healthier than they've been in a while. So, I think having 2 weeks off essentially.
A part of me would be, I think it'd be, actually, fuck it. I do want the Commanders to win. I want to make Jerry Jones squeam.
You won't be miffed at an all NFC East.
Oh, miffed. I'd go cataclysmic. I'd.
2 black quarterbacks.
Don't you do that to me.
It's a win-win. You count your blessings.
Don't you do that to me.
I'm pulling for the Lions. I mean, the Lions.
I'm still a crab in the barrel. I'm still
Take down here with me.
If we gonna suck, we gonna suck.
Technically, all you need is the Bills and the Lions to lose, and you have an all-black,
blackout?
an all-black Super Bowl.
That's not my. That's not what I want. Unless Dak's there. That said, to your point.
Oh, it was Vince Young. I was like, who was the person way out of his depth that said, I'm going to be the next black quarterback to win a Super Bowl? And it was Vince Young. He was way out of his depth.
I would say
That was Andy Dalton.
what I would say is I actually if we're talking what's the next game? Sorry.
Rams Eagles, actually.
I'm taking the Rams.
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
The zombie team that's hard to put down.
They're healthier than they've been in a while.
This is a
one.
I'm good at smelling them out. This is a trap.
It is.
It's a trap.
They're going back to Philly. Like that, Big Tom's going to be
Let me
there.
tell you exactly how this is going to work. It's the Rams going to win this out, and then whoever wins the Lions Commanders game is going to be who goes to the Super Bowl.
Well,
Because if they force throwing because someone's having a hissy fit, the Eagles are not going to look as good as they do.
fuck it. Take a nap. You know what? I agree with you. I'm leaning towards the Rams in this one because if anyone on the Rams sideline, if Puka Nacua pulls out a fucking book, I think Sean McVay's slapping him in the face. So I'm leaning Rams. I think I'm going to go Rams. There's going to be one upset.
What about Samuel Brockley?
Did you see that? The closed captioning referred to Saquon Barkley as Samuel Broccoli. Samantha showed me that meme. I was like, from now on, he is Samuel Broccoli going forward. But
if I was his, if one of his kids saw that, that'd forever change him.
I think because I think I'm leaning towards Rams because there's going to be an upset in here, and I think this is the most likely.
I think the upset comes in this fourth game.
That's not. I don't think there's upset in this fourth game.
I think there is.
Which one is this?
I think one of them has a lot of hype behind them, and the other
Ravens,
one,
Bills?
yeah. And even though the other team isn't bad, they don't have the hype behind them.
What are you talking about? They're both.
I still have, at least, I don't know, vibe-wise, I don't see a lot of people thinking the Ravens can get past the Bills.
What? Oh, I think the Ravens got this.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are beating their ass.
They mollywopped them early in the season.
Like it
and
wasn't
both-
even close.
And both these teams are healthy, so
like
minus Zay Flowers. But
I saw unless Harbaugh decides to fuck this up again.
Yeah.
I saw a motherfucker run himself 6 to 7 times in a row, and it worked.
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think this is a repeat of when they played the Chiefs last year. I do not. Lamar looks slimmer than he did last year. I know last year he tried to bulk up a little bit to help with taking
Yeah,
contact.
he went Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, he went Future Trunks mode and got punked by Perfect Cell Mahomes. I hate this anime shit. But I think the Ravens are gonna. Their roster's just better. I think in a vacuum, I think Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Lamar, but I think the gap is very close, like very small, I should say. I think Josh Allen's 2 and Lamar's 3, but Lamar's got a better running back. The Ravens defense has kind of found themselves the past few weeks. The Ravens have looked great since the bye, which you know what that gives me vibes of? Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Brady's Bucks. When they didn't lose a game since the bye. I think is that true with the Ravens? I don't think they've lost a game since their bye.
I think they've only beat ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, they're beating the shit out of teams. So I guess you're thinking the Ravens are going to win too.
I'm thinking the Ravens are going to win.
Where are you?
Motherfucker, I was Ravens. So
Yeah.
you think I'm gonna go for Josh Allen? What the fuck you think?
I know
this
you
is?
hate Josh
Yeah,
Allen.
I don't hate Josh Allen.
You hate him because he looks like he should be your tight end.
Exactly.
He's playing quarterback.
Boy's playing that wrong position.
yeah.
He knows where he should be.
Yeah, we don't like your kind around here.
Yeah, that's it.
Around here being under center.
Yeah.
You line up on the edge.
You out here having aspirations and shit, trying to get them big contracts.
Now that the Steelers are out, which shocking no one. I mean, I've been like the Lions are my backup team. I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl now, but Jaden Daniels is so fucking awesome.
It'd be so much more fascinating.
I would not be. I mean, I would be a little disappointed because I love Dan Campbell in this Lions team, but Jaden Daniels, like,
imagine
that kid's great.
Imagine a CJ Jaden Daniels Super Bowl. That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. And I would like to see a Super Bowl between two teams that have never won one. So
I mean, look, I don't want the Chiefs to win any at all. It'd be boring.
they're like, I don't hate the Chiefs the way a lot of people do.
I don't hate them either. It'd just be boring.
They're the team that I like. If they won it, I'd be like, God damn it! Like, I would be a little annoyed.
I'm actually only annoyed if the Rams win. That's the only team that would annoy me.
Why?
Really?
LA doesn't deserve another Super Bowl. They didn't
They're
show
on
up.
fire.
Fire, Marcos.
They don't deserve
Their
it.
trophies could be going up in smoke as we speak.
When LA wasn't on fire, they didn't show up to their Super Bowl party.
It's
That's
true.
fair. That's fair.
actually-
That's a good point. Actually.
Yeah.
You're right. They don't appreciate winning.
They don't like winning, except that one Asian lady.
And she's on the wrong LA team. That poor woman. She needs to change teams, man. Matt Stafford plays like hard in big games. Even when he loses, he goes down swinging.
Yeah, they don't have a culture for football like they should.
Which is, they've got a great coach,
And a good stadium.
a good stadium, a really good quarterback. If Matt Stafford wins a second Super Bowl,
Is LA just a basketball city, I guess?
I think it is a spoiled city. And when things don't go their way, they're just like, I'm going to the beach. And I'm going to buy $18 tacos. Like, I think they're just like, sports are not a big part of their life. It's a city full of distraction. Tech, Hollywood, overpriced food, $5 a gallon for gas.
That one gets me.
Yeah.
It's terrible traffic.
Yeah. So I think they're just like,
Place is overrated as shit.
so yeah, I think they just don't appreciate it. Meanwhile, you got teams like in the Midwest and in the East Coast during football season where it's cold and miserable, and at that time of year, it feels like football's all you got.
Yeah, that Buffalo game is, well, A, it's a home game, and B, B, it's at night at 7.
In Buffalo, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because Buffalo was the 2 seed. Yeah, like, and those, you better believe there'll be a lot of Ravens fans there too. That game will be fun. Emotions are going to be really high for that one. I think that's the game I'm most excited to watch. Even though I do think the Ravens are going to beat ass, but I think the atmosphere is going to be really cool for the first quarter or two, and then it's going to get sad for Buffalo again. But I would like to see. I mean, the teams in the AFC that have not won a Super Bowl who are still alive: the Texans and the Bills. Correct? I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And then in the NFC,
They've all won.
just the Lions. The Lions.
Oh, the Lions have not.
The Lions have not won a Super Bowl. So I mean, it was the Vikings, but now we know why.
And every game Jaden Daniels wins just gets me closer to a blacked out NFC East, because eventually the Giants will have to be like, oh damn it, well, we got to get ourselves one.
They're drafting Shador, bro.
It's either Shador or Cam Ward. They have to pick.
They're going to trade for Mike Tomlin and have him play quarterback. Because they're a very ignorant, slightly racist franchise.
Yeah, the motherfucker. Can you pull it up? Have the Giants ever had a black starting QB?
Of course they haven't. I know they haven't.
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, really? When was that?
No, was he an injury level up?
I think he was.
Yeah, because Tyrod Taylor was originally a Brown.
No, I don't believe what you just said.
That's
No,
AI.
because that was the first win as a black coach.
Geno Smith.
He was on the Jets.
Oh,
He
see,
wasn't-
I was just using the chat.
He wasn't on the Giants.
Joe Milton. Joe Milton is also a Pat. Never mind.
Speaking of which, there's a bunch of middle of the pack teams that should be making moves that no one knows what they're gonna do.
Like
the
who?
Cardinals, I think they.
They need to get a different
Oh,
quarterback.
Geno Smith replaces Eli Manning, so yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Yeah, that was the art. Geno Smith replaces Eli Manning.
No,
Tyrod-
it was Tyrod Taylor and Geno Smith. No wonder they said none of this again. They said, yeah, I don't know about that.
To ever win a game for the Giants.
2023.
Well, that means it was an injury replacement, not a.
Yeah, it was Daniel. It was
Not a
starting.
I meant a proper starting quarterback.
Who was the first team to have a black starting quarterback?
I know I'm the black quarterback guy, but that doesn't mean
To have, I'm going to guess, and I'm going to be wrong. Randall Cunningham of the Eagles is the first one I can think of.
When was that? Do you remember?
Or late 80s.
Okay.
that checks.
First.
I'm trying to remember. Like Cordell Stewart was like mid 90s.
Willie Thrower.
With a name like that, I mean, he's got to be a quarterback, right?
Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
1953. Oh, they were ahead of their time.
Good on you, Chicago.
And of course, he ended up at the Steelers. Look at that.
Hell yeah, man. It's
Yeah.
called the Rooney Rule for a reason, because we're like, it's like the rest of you NFL owners are racist as fuck.
That's true.
Honestly, like one of the knocks against Cowher is that he liked Cordell Stewart too much. Like Cordell, like I mean, everyone likes Cordell Stewart, but there'd be times it's like, yo, what are we doing with Cordell? And Bill Cowher's like, what the fuck, bro? It's like, yo, like
You just hate him because he's black.
don't play that card. Like, let's just view him as an objective quarterback right now. He's making mistakes.
You know how I feel. Keep on playing that card.
I think Cordell, I think he was before his time in a way. Like I think I mean, like when I look at like a Lamar Jackson or even like an RG3, I'm like, oh man, like had Cordell been with
Had in the theme of mobile quarterbacks being acceptable.
exactly correct. That's what I mean. Like because like Cordell was like one of the earlier quarterbacks that really utilized his legs. So yeah, if there was like if offensive coordinators were at the point where they were structuring offenses around a quarterback who could really run well, which they weren't at the time because you know the NFL is pretty racist.
Pretty.
Okay, quite racist.
Racism starts.
I'm trying to see if he ever won anything. The chat is saying that he led the Steelers to 2 AFC championship games.
Willie Thrower.
I think so.
That was before the Steelers were like also like good too. So that's impressive.
Well,
We didn't start winning Super Bowls until Terry Bradshaw got there. For a lot, I remember like one of the years like the team MVP was the kicker, which that should have been our team MVP this year.
It is your team MVP.
Yeah. My sister got me a Chris Boswell shirt for Christmas. I'll wear that year round.
Well, guys, thank you all for coming out. I think Thursday we got a Mexcellence for y'all, but yeah, we'll see you all next week.
Hey, look, I wish I did the Mexcellence. I gotta herd Negroes like cats. Gotta hope they show up. Gotta sprinkle shit here, and then maybe they'll come, maybe they don't.
I told you, bro. Popeye's chicken and a hammer.
That's not how these shows work.
Future Grand Rising to you, TJ.
Grand Rising, man.
Remember when Tommy asked me if I've been to Popeyes?
Yeah, he was so confused that
TJ, you were stunned. You were like, "What
Bro,
the fuck?"
'cause, look, I was
you
like-
talked to me for 20 minutes.
Bro,
You know the answer to that question.
Like, when I first met Gertz,